What's up, collectors? Welcome back to Films by Color and to another episode of This Week in Physical Media, where we talk about every new Blu-ray and 4K release that's coming out this week. Today we're talking about September 17th, 2024, which is tomorrow, Tuesday, Blues Day Tuesday, if you will. And we got a lot of stuff coming out this week, and we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. And to talk about it with me is...
Hey!
John Malahai. Here he is. He is very excited to be on his first live stream. He was very nervous right before we got started.
I wouldn't say nervous. I would say anxious, maybe.
Yeah, like very excited.
I don't know how this works.
Going live. Yeah.
I've watched a lot of live streams.
Well, this is how it works. You can see all this stuff on the screen.
So many screens.
Oh.
I even have my laptop here, so my phone. It's
all right. Well, we'll hope everything goes well. I've never had a guest on the show, so you are the first one. Hopefully everything's coming through fine. Hopefully the mics are working. And hopefully you can see John's lovely mug. There he is. He's on camera. He's going to talk about the releases with me tonight. And it should be a fun time. We've got Paramount Presents 4K coming out this week. We've also got 2 Arrow 4Ks coming out. We've also got...
Criterion.
Yeah, the Long Good Friday.
Yeah.
Coming out from Criterion. So let us know if you can hear us in the chat. Hopefully it's not... Like I said, this is the first time I've ever had double mics on this channel, so hopefully it sounds okay. This is the same way we record our videos that we've done in the past, so it should be fine. But let me know if there's any technical difficulties. We'll get to that. But like I said, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead. We shoot the show live, so let's go ahead and jump to the... I got one person in the chat saying the audio is repeating. I don't know why that would be the case, but that might just be him, because everyone else
says we're good.
Jeff says we sound great. Fix your audio, Dan. We are not repeating. I don't know. Maybe he's got it open twice or something. But here we go. Let's see who's in the chat. Speaking of the chat, let's go to the first one I saw was Ethan Edwards, who was excited to see you, which is great.
Hey, excited to talk to you.
John will be on. We've got Henry popping in the chat. Also excited to see you, John. He was hoping for Fanny and Alexander 4K for the Christmas December releases, but he's very excited for No Country for Old Men.
You know, I was a little disappointed that there wasn't any holiday stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't themed.
There's not a whole lot to choose from.
Yeah, you're running out of stuff pretty quick. But yeah, this is a good month. A lot of people excited for No Country for Old Men. That seems to be the big takeaway. Some good 4K upgrades as well. We did a video about this earlier, so thanks for popping in and doing that video with me. We also shot another video right before the stream. We've been knocking stuff out today. John's been here all day pretty much.
He had to put me to work.
Just hanging out for the stream because I wanted to keep you around for this. Kevin House pops in. Very excited to see you guys teaming up. Baloney says we got a great host. We got great people on the chat line. Quality assurance has been verified. Let's rock. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to jump in. Dynamic Duo says internet user. And people talking about some things that we're going to be talking about tonight. Michael Smith says, evening, gents. What is the story behind the former The Welder logo you used to have? Oh, well, there's a whole video about that when I switched over. Yeah. Remind me to talk about that later in the show. I want to go ahead and jump into the new releases, but that's a great question. And Michael, maybe bring it up again later in the stream. But I do want to go ahead and jump into what we're going to be talking about. So let's switch over to the other screens. Sorry, John, you might not be fully in. Hey, there you are.
I'll lean in.
There you go. Just lean in. All right. The first thing though is very exciting, and I think this is rightfully so the most anticipated release of this week. This is Bringing Out the Dead, which is kind of known for not really having a good release. I don't even know if it has a Blu-ray.
I don't know if it does either. I have an old DVD that I popped in the other day.
This is a movie that I really jumped on my radar last year when I fell in love with After Hours. Really, really like After Hours. It's a weird off the beaten path, like kind of odd Scorsese movie that doesn't really fit in the rest of his filmography. I fell in love with it. I went to the theater and saw it with you, actually. I dragged you to the theater at
we gotta go see
midnight.
This if this comes to the plaza or something.
Exactly, yes. And this kind of a similar thing. It takes place at night. It's about like one guy. I don't think it's a comedy like that, but it's kind of similar.
He drives an ambulance and he's an EMT. And so he has there were 3 nights and he's got different partners each time. It's John Goodman and who else? Ving Rhames. Oh, he's incredible. And then Tom Sizemore, the late great Tom Sizemore's in there.
I'll show the artwork while you're talking about this. But yeah, look at this. So this is one of the beautiful Paramount Presents titles that has these like nice slipcovers that open up and you get the original poster underneath. Love these.
Do you have some of these?
I don't think I have any of these. I really want some of these. There's one for the court jester, like a Danny McKay comedy. I really want to get that one.
Great movie. That's a great movie.
It's like out of print now, and they go for really expensive on eBay. But this looks like a lot of fun. This is you got Scorsese. He's got his religious films.
Fun.
Well, I mean, fun. I like weird things. I think weird things are fun. Yeah. But you've got Scorsese's religious films. You got his gangster films, and then you've got whatever this is. So I like the ones that are a little different.
This is like super deep cut, I think, in terms of Scorsese, because this is one of the few that like. It didn't bomb, but it didn't make its money back. It didn't get any Oscar nominations, which for most people is normal, but for him is like, what have you done wrong?
Look at that cast.
It's really good though.
It's 90s? Yeah, really early John Goodman. Wow, I'm excited. Yeah. I probably need to pre-order this or buy it like tomorrow, day one, because I know these go out of print.
And it's Paul Schrader who wrote the screenplay, who also did Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. So it's kind of like a Taxi Driver-esque.
I just watched Touch, directed by Paul Schrader recently. So. It all sounds great. I'm very excited about it. I have no complaints. I'm definitely going to pick that up. It's $19.99. That is a 4K Blu-ray and digital combo pack. Anything you can want. And there it is, Bringing Out the Dead. That's the first one. So a big one right off the bat. And then we've got a couple other ones here. We'll get to the Criterion in a second, which is the other huge one that we're going to talk about. But first, Chronicles of Riddick. Anybody excited about Chronicles of Riddick? This is a franchise. There's like 3 of these, right?
Yeah, this is the second one, right?
Oh, okay. See, and they have very confusing names. Like the first one's just called Riddick or something, and then it's the Chronicles of Riddick. No, I think the third one's just called Riddick.
The first one's called.
It's
one word.
It doesn't have Riddick in it. It's just completely different. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. This is a Vin Diesel franchise.
Someone let us know.
It's based on comic books, I believe, or are they just sci-fi?
It's gotta be.
I can't remember if they're exactly based, but the artwork looks great. It's a perfect fit for Arrow Video. They do a lot of fantasy, sci-fi stuff.
This is the movie that teamed Vin Diesel and Judi Dench.
Of course.
That's what I know. And there's a story of him like hiring her and the whole situation. And that's all. I think I did see it in the theater, but
this is. Oh wow, you did. Interesting. Yeah, I've never seen the franchise. It seems like something I would have liked in high school. I don't know how it'll hold up these days, but it's 2004. This is an Arrow release. Apparently there's 2 cuts on this one.
Oh, it's Pitch Black. Pitch Black
is the first one. That's
Thank you, Sharon. My friend Sharon's watching.
Hey Sharon. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for setting us straight with your film knowledge.
She should really be on, because she knows more than I do.
Well, she knows more about the Pitch Black series than you do. But there's the slipcover. It's nice. It's nice. It's like a lesser known Arrow. It doesn't have like one of the big slip boxes or anything, but it's a nice little slipcase there. And there's also a Blu-ray version if you don't want the 4K. Same exact artwork. But that's Chronicles of Riddick. Let us know if you're excited about that one. I don't know how that franchise goes. I don't know if it's like Pitch Black is the best and they go downhill, or maybe it gets better. I have no idea. I haven't seen them.
Sharon, let us know.
Let us know if you've seen those in the chat. We'll do one more here and then we'll jump back to the chat, because this is a huge one we got to get to. Long Good Friday. This is funny because we've gotten to the point where where the things that we reacted to on the announcement videos are actually coming out now.
Yeah.
The first time we did a reaction video together to the announcements was the Long Good Friday.
I did not guess it correctly.
No.
Did I?
I think you did. I think you did.
Yeah, I did.
Because we talked about the connection with Mona Lisa, one of my favorite Criterions. This is a really good one. And there it is. Mona Lisa, also starring Bob Hoskins and directed by Neil Jordan. Is this also directed by Neil Jordan?
No, this is John McKenzie.
John McKenzie.
This is probably the biggest thing that he did in terms of what people remember.
But it's a very similar kind of underground crime mystery type thing.
That's that one's Mona Lisa's a little bit more like I don't know, like stylized and stuff. This was beautifully made, but it's just like very straightforward. Telling.
Yeah, I really liked how Mona Lisa was shot, and I liked. There's a lot of like dark comedy in Mona Lisa. I don't know if that's gonna be the same way in Long Good Friday.
There's some good comedy in this too.
Okay, cool. I just love
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins is just the best.
He's essentially like the head of the mob. And he's being, it's over one weekend, over like Easter weekend, because it's Good Friday.
Yeah.
And he's being attacked by someone. I won't give it away.
Don't spoil it. I'm actually really excited to see this one.
But he's got to figure it out.
I'm going to be picking up in November for sure, when November rolls around.
It's quite good. It's streaming now on Criterion if anybody wants to cheat and go ahead and watch it.
Actually. There's apparently a meat husk scene.
Yeah, Rocky-esque.
With a freezer. So that's awesome. Very excited about that. So 2 films that I've been wanting to watch for a while. I don't know about Chronicles of Riddick, but Bringing Out the Dead and Long Good Friday, we're off to a great start. 2 bangers right out the top. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. How do you like seeing the chat from behind scenes here?
It's like overwhelming. I don't know how you do it.
Seriously. It's going to start jumping up quickly as soon as they start writing stuff. Jeffrey says, I have Bringing Out the Dead on VHS, but I'd happily pick up a 4K of it.
You.
Good job, Jeffrey. Hang on to those VHSs.
Can I just wait a second, Jeffrey? You watch so much. Like I'm Letterboxd friends with you, and
everybody follow Jeffrey on Letterboxd.
It's incredible. You've seen everything.
And he makes great lists too. There's a lot of inspiration on there. Michael Smith, Bringing Out the Dead, introduced me to Van Morrison's TB Sheets. Amazing song.
It does have a great soundtrack, as all Scorsese films tend to do. So.
Awesome. Internet user says, hoping we get the King of Comedy to continue his off the beaten path films. I would love that too. I wish Criterion, it makes no sense. I guess they're all tied up in company rights. Maybe. But as involved as Scorsese is in Criterion, it sucks that they don't have very many of his movies at all. Like they have After Hours.
Yeah.
Everything else is tied up with
they
Warner
have
Brothers.
Like Irishman randomly. I guess that was Netflix. They have
a deal with Netflix. But yeah, like Taxi. I would love Taxi Driver release. I would love like King of Comedy, like they said. But it's.
But so you need to see Bringing Out the Dead. But there's so much more that are higher priority.
Well, I don't know. I like checking out the weird ones. Like I said, off the beaten path ones.
I understand, but
which is what internet user just said. He said, hoping we get the King of Comedy to continue his off the beaten path films. I hope so. I hope we get a good 4K of that because we don't have a good release of that either. This Sheldon Emberley, which is a name that I don't hear often. A great name. Welcome to the stream. Paramount presents Don't Give Us Canadians Those Nice Slipcovers.
Oh.
How discriminatory of them.
Bummer.
What a bunch of jerks. I'm sorry, man. And I know it costs a ton to get stuff imported up there, so that sucks. Kevin says, I second an internet user's recommendation of Scorsese's King of Comedy, of course. Carrie Witt, Bringing Out the Dead, pretty good film, not as strong as After Hours or Taxi Driver, of course, but definitely a deeper cut from Martin. Definitely not a fun movie, LOL.
I mean, it's fun in the sense of like no bad movie is not fun.
Yeah.
And it's not bad, so it's not.
There you go.
It's dark. It's a dark film.
I'm excited. I'm super excited. All right, let's jump over and see what else is coming out. We're going to get into Shout Factory and Arrow. A little bit more Arrow. We already talked about Arrow a little bit. But the first one here from Shout Factory is a 4K Blu-ray combo pack, and it's Doomsday. Doomsday from 2008. What in the world is this? Doomsday from the director of Dog Soldiers and The Descent. I've heard of The Descent a lot. A lot of people talk about The Descent.
So Bob Hoskins is in this.
Are you serious? This is Bob Hoskins week.
Yeah, so double feature.
Wow. Oh my, this looks insane. This is like a post-apocalyptic... I guess so. Like Doomsday.
This is there was a pandemic
Survive
or something.
This. That's crazy.
And then the city is like under siege essentially from.
Okay.
That's what I got.
So Neil Marshall directing Doomsday. I guess we could read this. Authorities brutally quarantine a country as it succumbs to fear and chaos when a virus strikes. The literal walling off works for the 3 decades until the dreaded Reaper virus violently resurfaces in a major city. So it's kind of like a zombie apocalypse type thing.
I think so.
Interesting. Doomsday, 2008. All the rage zombies were, especially virus zombies, like in the mid-2000s. Like we had, was it 28 Days Later?
Little did they know. Yeah, 28. Oh, that's good. That one's like also not available, right? Like that one's just like...
Interesting. I didn't know that one was tied up in rights. But this is Scream Factory. They do good release. They're solid. They're like on the level of like a Kino Lorber. They do nice slipcovers and good transfers usually and some supplements. So yeah, there you go. You've got Doomsday coming out. And then I think we have another shout. I'm sure we have a couple other shouts coming out later, but I'm going to jump back into Arrow because I want to talk about Torso, which you watched recently.
I did.
And we've got 2 different versions, so they're both 4K.
It was also streaming on Criterion, so.
Oh, interesting. It's crazy when the rights get all tied up like that. Torso 4K coming out from Arrow. This is an Italian. Is this a giallo film or just an Italian horror film?
I think it qualifies as giallo.
Technically
I don't know what the technical definition of giallo is.
But it's 70s, so it's around that period. Yeah,
it is.
So Carnival Violence.
It's a slasher movie, basically.
Interesting. Is it a group of people, or is he just trying to hunt down this woman, it looks like?
It's in a university town in Italy.
Okay.
So there's various students, and then there's the... I don't know if she is... I can't tell if she's the professor or one of those... I think she's the professor.
Okay. But it's got
there's a lot of people.
A lot of people. So a lot of people get killed. It's not just
yeah, and then you don't know who the guy is that's after them. But there's
okay, so mystery also.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I gotta be honest, like it was good, but it was hard to tell all the different guys apart. They're all just kind of creepy. You know, like
was that done intentional to like make it hard to guess who it was?
Possibly.
Kind of like Men. There you go.
But some great, especially the ending, like there's some great sequences of...
Is there a creepy doll in this?
I think I actually yelled out, "Oh my God," at one point. So
it looks like there's a creepy doll involved. So Grace will have none of it. Yeah. But yeah, cool. Is she a good starring role for her? Is she a good lead?
I think so.
Okay. Is she just kind of minimal? It doesn't really say much?
It's not really about the acting.
Okay. Just about the creative filmmaking and kills and stuff. So there's Torso. That's the slipcover for the limited edition that you can get at anywhere. And then there's also a limited edition exclusive to the Arrow website, which is right here, Arrow Video exclusive, that has a nice yellow, which looks like the original poster. It looks kind of like. I would assume that's the original poster, which is the draw for people because a lot of people prefer the original poster, so they make that the exclusive.
I will say there's a lot of torso in this movie.
Ooh, a lot of severed torsos. I see a saw.
There's some sawing action as well. Yeah.
It says, "Enter if you dare the bizarre world of the psychosexual mind." So I'm guessing there's a little.
Well, I'll let you guys watch it.
Interesting. So leave it up for your imagination. But there's the exclusive, whichever one of those artworks you prefer better. Those slip covers. Maybe get the one on Arrow's website.
So they're exactly the same? There's just an exclusive that's...
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just the artwork is different on those. I don't know if because that would be weird if they held off like specific supplements. That would be kind of annoying. So I think it's just the artwork, whichever one you prefer. If you like the original or if you like the revamp. And then we'll talk about this briefly because we know nothing about this and we usually don't talk about TV on the show, but Top Cat, the complete series, is coming out on Blu-ray, which is from Warner Archive. Warner Archive has been doing a great job lately of putting out a lot of their Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah.
They've been doing some Scooby-Doo stuff. They had that Hanna-Barbera box set a while ago.
Have you seen any of Top Cat though?
I don't know what Top Cat is. I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan growing up. I did not watch Top Cat. It looks more like an adult-oriented show, more so than
I think it was only on like one season here. Although I've heard that it's bigger like in Latin America and other places, and they have more films and stuff about it. Like it didn't catch on here for some reason. So
awesome. Yeah, I know nothing about Top Cat, but he's a smooth-talking New York City cat, and he's the leader of a gang of Manhattan alley cats.
Hey,
so there you go.
Okay.
Fun. It's one season, 1961, 1962.
So
749
it's like
minutes. So.
Bringing Out the Dead, Top Cat, got a lot of New York stuff.
We've got New York. Yeah. We've got Bob Hoskins. That's London. In New York too. Isn't Good Friday in New York too?
That's London.
Oh, London. Dang it.
It's very British.
Well, we'll try to come up with a theme. Okay. Apparently, the theme is red and orange this week. Like the thumbnail is just all like everyone coordinated the artwork this week. We'll talk about one more here because you also watched this recently for some reason.
Well, this is fascinating.
This just had a big revamp. Like it had a big 4K transfer, 4K restoration. It's going to theaters and everything. Did you see this in theaters or you watched it at home?
No, they showed the ultimate cut. This is the ultimate cut.
Yeah, it has both cuts.
I haven't seen this cut. I saw the original one. So
the original sex-filled cut.
Yeah, so the way this worked was Penthouse was the producer on this movie, and they hired a director, and they hired Gore Vidal, a very famous writer, to write the screenplay, and then they wound up kind of like throwing the screenplay out and having it rewritten, and then they credited, I don't know, it's weird because there's like no director actually credited in the film. And Gore Vidal it's like based on a screenplay by Gore Vidal. It's weird. And the editors aren't credited because everything just got chopped up. It was in post-production for like 3 years.
Jeez.
They came in and did like basically hardcore sex scenes for like to fill in, the gaps here and there.
You gotta fill in
and they re-edited a bunch of the footage that had been shot. So the original cut, it's actually shorter, but it's because
they took it all.
They took a bunch of the original stuff out and added sex. So that's the one I watched, and it's not great.
So you watched the original cut?
I watched the original cut.
So you haven't seen the better cut. So you got to get this.
This one they went back to the original footage and like tried to reassemble it. So it doesn't have a lot of that.
The ultimate cut, which is used all the time. The ultimate cut. I think there's a Blade Runner that's called that. The BBS one is called that.
It's gotta be.
The ultimate cut. Erotic drama history film. This is about Caligula from 1979. Wow. Yeah. So you said it's not great.
Well, the original one is.
But this one might be better. It has to be better. Slightly. Marginally.
It can't be worse.
It can't be worse. So a glowing recommendation of Caligula from John.
Caligula. It can't be worse. That's what they should call it.
It's weird that the Blu-ray is here. Like that's the one that's up here and not the 4K. Why is the 4K not on here? There is a 4K. It's down here.
Oh, is it not yet?
It's coming out, I don't know.
October 22nd.
Weird. So why?
So wait a month.
This is a whole mess. Like they're releasing the Blu-ray of the Ultimate Cut now and then the 4K in a month? That's so weird. All right, don't buy this, guys. There's a 4K literally coming out in a month. Don't be forced to download
the thing is, like, Caligula, that's an interesting subject.
Yeah. So you would like a remake?
I would like a documentary.
Oh. Like, there's going to be less sex scenes in the documentary. Are you cool with that?
I want the history. I'm curious about the sex wasn't all that.
The documentary would be more interesting because it's kind of known for being like a flop, like a big disaster to film and everything. So
it's not a great movie.
Yeah. One of those movies that's more interesting to learn about than to actually watch.
Yeah, I think so. It is impressive to look at, though, so I'm sure the 4K looks great.
Okay.
So
very epic in scope and stuff.
Yeah, big sets,
Well, let's watch these. Let's pick up these two more here, and then we'll jump to the chat and talk to them, because I'm sure they have thoughts on Caligula and Torso. Next up, we've got two more of these Kino Lorber film noir sets. They're on number 20 and 21. So we've got 21 here is The Dark Side of Cinema 21, Blu-ray of 3 films, Cloak and Dagger, Shack Out on 101, and Shortcut to Hell.
But the best titles.
Noirs have the best titles. Look at this. And Hammer horror films. Throw those in as well. But look at these. So we've got 3 films. They're in deep, deep, deep cuts at this point. Like they're on number 20. Like they're putting out so many noirs.
Well, I think even the early ones weren't like mainstream.
That's true. I mean, they can it's probably easy to get the rights to these. They're they're so low budget.
So one of these is Fritz Lang, Cloak and Dagger.
Interesting. That's awesome.
Shortcut to Hell is the only movie that James Cagney ever directed. And apparently he just kind of did it as a favor to the producer who he was friends with, and it helped the publicity of the film to have his name on it.
I would love to start collecting these, especially because my wife Grace is getting really into noir. Like she's really getting into the genre. But we're so far behind at this point. Like I'm 20 behind. I can't really... And I don't know if I want 20 box sets on the shelf. Like that would take up so much room.
That would be a whole shelf, wouldn't it? Yeah.
We've also got number 20 here. This is Captain Carey, Appointment with Danger, and Make Haste to Live. Why are you bringing up Mona Lisa?
Because Captain Carey USA, has the song Mona Lisa in it.
Wow, that's...
Do you know that song? That like famous Nat King Cole...
Is that in this movie? No. I think they play it at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, probably it's like
I think that opens, so that makes sense. Wow.
So
2 points to Gryffindor for John's amazing connection there. That's great.
I don't know anything else about it.
I mean, it's 3 more noir films.
It's Alan Ladd,
probably great. They're from 1950 to 1954, so later noir films. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
More fun than Bringing Out the Dead, according to the chat. So that's 2 more box sets. Like I said, I would love to start collecting those, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. You want to talk to the chat a little bit? I'm sure people have got some feedback for you. Carrie Witt says the original Torso poster is killer. Yeah, I think I prefer that to the new one. Probably, but I like classic posters a lot.
It pops more, doesn't it? It's better.
Yeah. Well, I'm always a fan of color, if you want to get that yellow in there. Let's see. Doomsday, The Last Descent, Neil Marshall movie, a good time. Interesting. So he's actually seen it. He also says Top Cat was a primetime program. It's basically the animated version of the Phil Silvers show, aka Sergeant Bilko, which was a 50s sitcom. Yeah, a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff was like sitcoms, like Flintstones and Jetsons.
Well, and it was like primetime stuff that I just said that. Like it aired. It was amazing. It's kind of weird to think.
It's a weird time.
Like The Simpsons is kind of like that, and
it was kind of before we kind of like degraded animation to just for kids, because back then everyone watched the Disney movies and everybody watched animated shorts like Fleischer stuff, and Hanna-Barbera and moving into the 70s and 80s is what made everyone think that animation is just for kids,
and
because
they would
got,
show
Ninja
cartoons
Turtles
in between films and theaters,
exactly,
with like newsreels and stuff. So everybody watched it. So
so there's no reason that Hanna-Barbera's cartoons wouldn't have been for adults at that point. Let's see. Bailey Walsh just popped in. Welcome to the stream. Bailey, Josh Elf, No Country for Old Men or There Will Be Blood?
Easy.
You like There Will Be Blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
I can't make that decision until I see them.
They're both good. You haven't seen either one?
No.
What are you doing on here?
What? I should be watching movies instead of talking.
Go watch something.
Okay, I'm gonna go watch. Well, I can't. I don't have it yet.
But No Country for Old Men is. I mean, they're different. You know.
No Country for Old Men.
There's some similar themes and stuff, but it's I mean, No Country is probably one of their tightest movies, I think, in terms of the screenplay and
I think Fargo's pretty tight. Joshua Andrews says he can't wait to get my copy of the Umbrella Mega Box of Caligula. Have you seen that? There's like a huge box set coming out. Umbrella does insane stuff. Their box sets are like $100.
Knock yourself out.
Let's see what else. And Dan Zen says Caligula, a legendary disaster that I have listened to way too many podcasts on. You probably have too.
Those are probably more interesting than the movie. I have not, I don't think, listened to a podcast on. Maybe I will on the way home.
Yeah, do that. You got a long drive home.
Yeah.
Posty says Shack Out on 101 is bizarre, but you got to see it if you're a Lee Marvin head like me.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm glad someone has actually seen some of those.
Marking it down.
Patrick Craig popped in. Hey. Bringing Out the Dead should arrive tomorrow. Excited to finally see this somewhat obscure Scorsese film. I'm glad you got that on pre-order. I probably should have done the same because I'm probably going to miss out on it, but hopefully I can still get a copy. We just got a super chat from Gus Amoretti. Thank you so much, Gus. He says, wow, double team. Hi, DJ and John. Thank you so much for the donation. He never asks us a question in his donation. He just throws a donation our way.
Let us know if you have a question.
He's such a sweet guy. Thank you so much, Gus. Always appreciate it. And look at this. He's always very exuberant in his chats. It's great. Yep. Really appreciate you, Gus. You're the best. Thanks for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, throw them at this guy. That's what he's here for. All right, let's jump over and see what else we got coming out. We don't need to talk about Reacher. That's a TV show. We don't talk TV here. We got enough time. We got enough stuff
we
to
don't
talk
have time
about.
to watch TV.
Yeah, there's so much movies. We got to talk about movies first. Madness. What the heck is this? We were talking about this earlier. This is an Italian film.
This is also, I guess this is Giallo as well.
Oh, interesting.
It's 80.
It's a little late. It's 1980, but yeah.
But it's Joe D'Alessandro, who's an American actor.
Okay, directed by Fernando De Leo.
From like Andy Warhol stuff.
This is a really weird. I don't know much about Raro Video. It looks like they only have a few releases so far. They have a very strange art style. It's like they just put the poster there and then just like slap on. It kind of looks like a library.
That I don't like.
It kind of looks just like a library copy. But yeah, Raro Cinema. I'm ruining my chances of getting a partnership with Raro Video. I'm critiquing their style, but it looks good. It's consistent. They all look the same. But
so the only thing I know about this, it's like a home invasion kind of thing.
Okay.
Horror movie.
An escaped convict plays the occupants of a remote home against one another for his own sadistic pleasure while searching for the loot he buried there following a previous robbery.
So the one fun fact that I know that I just because I was reading Letterboxd reviews is that there's like a poster of John Travolta on the wall while all this stuff is taking place in the house.
Interesting.
So it's as if he's like looking over the proceedings. But,
interesting.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Well, if you like posters of John Travolta and Giallo, there you go. Madness. Well, it's got a very generic title. It seems like the title in Italian is much more interesting.
Vacation for a Massacre or something
like that? Yeah, that's
like
much better than just Madness. We kind of always ruin things when we bring them to America.
Well, Torso's title in Italian is much different too.
Interesting. What's that?
It's something about...
Corpi presentano.
Yeah.
Wow, it's super long. Yeah, why do we take these long titles? We're stupid in America. We need one-word titles. We just need Torso and Madness. Yeah. That's all we can handle. That's $50. I did not even notice that. The 4K for Torso is $50. These things are getting outrageous.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I'm sure this is not as expensive. Yes, it's $21. Le Femme from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber getting in on the action. Not too much from them this week, but we've got Le Femme, which is, well, that's just the woman. I think in America it's called the Vixen. Yeah, the Vixen. Very interesting cover. if that's
intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, that was the point.
Say more.
Brigitte Bardot is, she's Brigitte Bardot. She introduced the bikini for crying out loud.
Wow. This is from Kino Classics line, and it's from a Studio Canal transfer. They do good stuff. They steal a lot of stuff from Criterion. I know that about Studio Canal. But here we go. This is Clara becomes a secretary who must cater to all the desires of the womanizing writer Jerome while he tries to write his memoirs. So it seems like a very boring, just a plain premise. Like she's just helping him write his memoirs while he's... So does it get sexual? Like what kind of secretary is she?
I don't know. I'm sure they have a moment or two.
She says he has to cater to all of his womanizing desires. So maybe so. I don't know. Yeah. This is a more obscure one, but Kino Lorber can always count on them to put out literally anything. they cover everything. But there you go, La Femme. Cool. Then we've got what I'm assuming is a re-release. I'm sure this came out before. It's getting to be closer to spooky season, so...
Do you have it like right back here?
I do. I already grabbed it. Well, I have a
amazing, guys.
I have a Blu-ray version, which I love.
Which is probably good enough.
A lot. Yeah, I don't feel the need to upgrade these to 4K, although some of them, maybe The Invisible Man, I kind of like in 4K because I love that one. But there we go. This is a Blu-ray set. This is a 4K set that I'm assuming has come out before. I don't think this is because if this was the first time this came out, it would have been at the top of the list. But it's the exact same. Actually, this is only 4. This is just Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy, and Invisible Man. Oh no, it has all of them. It has Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, Creature from the Black Lagoon. So it's all the same ones I have here, just in 4K instead of Blu-ray. And it's kind of it looks like a flimsier package.
So I've actually seen all those.
There you go.
Good for me.
I've seen all of them except for the Phantom of the Opera, which you said is not great.
It's not great.
I've seen the 1925 version though, so I think I'm good.
Well, this one, it's like they try to give him a backstory of. I'm not to spoil anything, but he's like a composer
there he is.
Whose work gets stolen from him and like passed off by somebody else, and then he gets covered in acid or something. You know, the whole face thing. But
very similar to
he has like a thing, it's like a vengeance thing. That
so he's not just a creep monster guy. That's weird. That seems like a weird thing to add. But anyway, if you want to get that 4K of those monster movies, it's still available. If you wanted it, you probably already got it at this point, though. There's also a re-release of Man of the Year on Blu-ray. If you missed that, you can check that out from Shout Factory. Just a standard release, no slipcover.
Never saw this one.
Interesting. It's a 2006. That's late for him. That's like around RV era. He was getting into some weird comedies at that point. And then we've got Mother's Instinct, which sent us down a rabbit hole earlier. This is from Decal Releasing, which is also, they've been distributing a lot of movies lately. They distributed Longlegs, they distributed Robot Dreams, a lot of Neon's movies they've been distributing. And this is just a standard...
Pig, La Chimera, Infinity Pool.
Yeah, a lot of recent stuff. But this is just a standard, standard Blu-ray release, kind of bare bones. I don't know what this is, Mother's Instinct. It stars Anne Hathaway and Jessica Chastain. It's like a crazy cast.
Yeah,
but it's another Neon movie, and I don't know anything about it. But it seems like Neon has like a niche that they kind of stick to, like independent, slightly horror stuff, right?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
I mean, yeah, but they do a lot of horror stuff. But I mean, even it's kind of A24-ish. It's like A24 adjacent, I
would say.
But yeah, Alice and Celine live a traditional lifestyle with successful husbands and sons of the same age. Life's perfect harmony is suddenly shattered after a tragic accident. Guilt, suspicion, and paranoia combine to unravel their sisterly bond. Okay, so their friendship is tested.
I've never heard of this movie. Where did it come from?
I don't know. It says a love letter to classic Hitchcock from Film Ireland. Interesting.
I do like the supporting actor there who was in, what's his name? Go back.
Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, I thought you were talking about Jessica Chastain.
Anders Danielson Lee.
Josh
Charles too. It was great. Yeah. But he was in Worst Person in the World.
It's a 2024 movie, so it was this year. That's probably why we haven't heard of it. But yeah, already on Blu-ray already. If you've heard of that one, or if you saw that one, let us know what you think of it.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap up this with one more here. It looks like we're already to the end of this, which is great because I'm glad that it worked out this way when you're here, because we'll have plenty of time to talk with the live chat. Yeah. Throw in your questions and comments and conversation starters, and we'll have a good conversation for the second half of the show. But we've got one more here, which neither of us have ever heard of. This is such a weird title. The Great Escape 2, The Untold Story. So I'm assuming this is related to this movie, The Great Escape?
I've got
The Great Escape. I mean, what else could it be? This is the big classic from 1963.
So they escaped, and then they went back, and then they escaped.
They forgot somebody, maybe.
Yeah.
They had to go back. One of them left their clothes there. I don't know what's going on. The Great Escape 2, The Untold Story from Film Chest, another little tiny label that has not put out much stuff yet. This is a 1988 film. Is this a TV movie? Did this go to theaters?
Sure sounds like it.
It does have a colon.
Christopher Reeve?
That's a surefire sign of a straight-to-DVD movie is a colon and a subtitle. Allied prisoners tunnel out of Stalag, then return to avenge fellow escapees. They did return. Escapees executed by the Nazis. So they're returning to get them out. Here's the cover on that one.
Made-for-TV adventure drama.
76 men escaped, 3 made it, 50 brutally executed, and Gestapo pursued, justice served. This is crazy. But what's crazy about it is it stars Christopher freaking Reeve. Look at that. What? Christopher Reeve is a Nazi in this movie. This is crazy. It's got Judd Hirsch, Anthony Dennison. I don't really want to watch it. I don't think it's probably great, but it is number 2 from whatever line this is.
It's not real high up on the list here either, which means...
It's literally at the bottom of the list. Yeah, nobody's excited about it. But hey, I support Film Chest and all the smaller labels that want to put out cool stuff.
It seems like a dad thing.
It's a good dad movie.
You're a dad?
I'm not that kind of dad. I am. I think maybe my wife's dad would like this kind of movie.
Okay, there you go.
War movies seem to be his thing. So I recently watched Stalag 17.
Oh.
Which is...
Which is Billy Wilder?
Thing. Billy Wilder, so freaking good. Christmas movie. We should watch it again in December. It takes place at Christmas
I haven't seen it.
You gotta watch it, man. It's so good. And The Apartment. We gotta do a double feature with The Apartment. That's like a Christmas New Year's movie.
Yeah, I'll watch that anytime. Watch that now if you want to.
Sure. But anyway, that's The Great Escape 2. That's the last thing we have to talk about this evening. Let's jump back to the chat and have the rest of the show. You guys tell us where you want to go. You guys guide the conversation, and we'll go wherever you want to talk about stuff. If you want to talk about The Great Escape 2, we can go back to The Great Escape 2. But
if anyone has seen that, please let us know. It was a while ago, 88.
88,
so,
yeah.
You know.
All right, let's see what people are saying in the chat here. Jay Hutch, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while in the chat. Good to see you. This is an unpopular opinion, but No Country for Old Men is a weird one for me because it doesn't have much of any Coen Brothers zaniness in it, so it leaves me a bit cold.
I can see that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not like...
I'm assuming True Grit is also like that.
True Grit's a little more fun. True Grit's sweet, I think, actually.
Kind of a sentimental?
A little bit. It's got a little sentiment, but not too much. Just
enough sentiment.
A classic level of sentiment. But a really good story and fun. It's funny.
Coen Brothers have a range. What I like about Coen Brothers is they have like a style that you can tell, but there's like a range in that style. Like you can go Blood Simple, or you can go like Big Lebowski. Mm-hmm. Similar, but like the range of comedy versus dark is like way on the opposite end of a spectrum. That's what I'm trying to say. They have a spectrum to their style. Yes. Like Blood Simple, there is some dark comedy in there, but it is it's like the blackest of comedy. It's like super...
But then they made Raising Arizona.
And then they went straight to crazy. They went right to Raising Arizona. And then, so you got Raising Arizona and like Big Lebowski, and then you got like Blood Simple, and Fargo is closer to that. Fargo is only funny because of how absurd it is, but they play everything totally straight.
It's very
Which
dark.
Is what I love.
I mean, I think No Country has humor in it. It's just uncomfortable, like anxious humor or something.
Okay. Awkward, like uncomfortable laughing.
Or, I mean, it's also just... It's tense. Super, it's a tense movie.
Like twisted.
So even when there's moments of levity in it, it's not alleviating anything, you know? It's just...
I'm excited to check it out. Grace is absolutely going to pick that up in November. I can already... Oh, actually, she won't. She'll have to pick it up in like February, but she won't. She's trying to collect all the Coen Brothers movies.
What's your favorite Coen Brothers movie?
Right now it's Fargo. I don't know if anything will ever top Fargo. Fargo's like perfectly made for me. Posty says Arrero does a good job getting Italian genre cinema out, but I agree the frame around the poster is awful. So he's with us on that. And Henry Bidenkamp, also Raro Video is a middling distributor like what Kino Lorber used to be about 10 years ago. Wait.
So they have more than just the 4 that you saw there.
They must, because they were only showing 4, but hopefully they'll someday grow up to be a Kino Lorber, and we'll be talking about them a lot more. Yeah. Carrie Witt says Madness was inspiration to Funny Games. Ooh.
Which I can't. I actually only watched the American remake of Funny Games. Have you ever seen any of those?
No. I don't like the premise. I don't know. I feel like
the
premise
and stuff. That's...
Well, I've heard people talk about Funny Games like the point of it is to make you turn it off. Like if you finish it, you're kind of part of the problem. Is what I've heard.
The interviews that Michael Haneke gave when he made the movie were kind of like the people were asking him like, how could you make this? And he's like, well, it's just to, it's like putting the audience in their place, essentially. Like, we watch so much stuff, and here's something... Anyway, it's like an assault on the audience.
Yeah, like you're so desensitized that you're... Right. Yeah. I probably would turn it off. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what other people are saying. Oh, we just got another super chat. Thanks so much. Popcorn1, $20 super chat. Wow. Thank you so much. It looks like he does have a question. Hey, DJ, trying to catch more of these live. I'm going to be here at the end of the month, so I can try and be your Vincent correspondent. Thank you. I need one of those because we don't know anything about Vincent. Recently became a Vincent subscriber. Can't wait to get my Labor Day pickups this week. Awesome. Congrats on becoming a subscriber. That is a huge investment. So congrats on, first of all, making enough money to be able to do that and taking the plunge into that. Hope you find some really fun films that you really enjoy. Thank you so much for the super chat.
So how does that work? Do you literally get all the releases of...
Yes, they send them to you every month. You get like a big giant box. It's. I would love to be a subscriber of like some boutique label. Like Deaf Crocodile has a subscription now. Oh. It's just like you got to pay like $500 up front. It's just way too much because it's like for the whole year.
You're supporting a good thing.
Yeah, and I would love to if I could, but I can't. Right. I don't have that much up front. But thanks so much for the super chat, Popcorn41. Amazing. And anyone else who gives us a super chat, we always really, really appreciate it. And thanks for popping in the stream, Popcorn. Hopefully you can be here next week as well, because that is going to be...
popping in? Is that what you just said?
It was unintentional, no pun intended. But yes, next week is the last week of the month, so all those Vincent titles are going to fall on me. It's going to be a big one. It's a huge week next week.
It's a huge week.
Yeah. So thank you, Popcorn. Hope you can make it next week. Posty says Phantom of the Paradise is greater than Phantom of the Opera.
Oh. I haven't actually seen that, but I know what you're talking about.
I think the funny story about Phantom of the Opera, the 1925 version, is the first time we ever met.
Yeah.
Or no, we didn't meet. You saw me, And then you left a comment saying, "Hey, I saw you at the Phantom of the Opera."
You said you were there, and I was like, "Hey, I was the guy doing the thing." And
because for those of you who don't know, there's a local theater here. It's like an old 100-year-old theater, and they play old movies, silent movies with like live organ accompaniment. And I went to that a few years ago. And John does, because he used to be affiliated with TCM, and he does the introductions for those. And they have him say that.
They still say I'm from TCM, and I allow it.
John from TCM.
Because it sounds
you're a published TCM author, and you always will be. But you left a comment on one of my videos and say, "Hey, I saw you at the Phantom of the Opera thing," and I was like, "Oh, we should have said something." And then we saw King of Kings around Easter time, and then we actually met and talked for the first time, and then the rest is history. You came on one of the we met randomly at a Barnes & Noble for one of the Criterion halls, and
you told me to be there.
Well, we didn't meet. Yeah, we coordinated and then met.
Totally random.
And then we've been fast friends ever since. And now you're on your first live stream. Look at this. Yeah. Phantom of the Opera will always be our meet cute. Actually, it was King of Kings.
But I don't need to watch that every year. You know,
no,
they play it every year.
They do it every year. There's like a costume party.
And if you haven't seen it, go see it on the big screen.
It's a very nice. It's a good thing to see in theaters with people.
It totally is.
Very nice atmospheric watch. Carrie Witt, the premise of Le Femme seems boring because there's probably some sauciness in between the typing of the memoir. Yeah, they didn't include any of that in the description. It was just like they were downplaying it really hard. I guess they wanted to surprise you or shock you.
Yeah, or I wonder how much there is in there.
Maybe not. The poster might be misleading.
Lowering your expectations.
She might not be naked in the movie at all. That might just be a misleading poster. Here and there.
I'll let you guys find out.
Let's see. What else do we have? Connor Nielsen in the chat.
Connor!
Hey! You still haven't met?
I wish I could have met you in person.
We were going to meet. We were all going to hang out, but Connor's flight got destroyed in the whole pandemonium that happened a couple weeks ago. But I will be going to LA in a couple weeks and meeting Connor in person there. Maybe get some video footage for you guys. That should be fun. Bailey Walsh, I've seen the original Mother's Instinct from a handful of years back. It's a Belgian film based on a Belgian book. I have a feeling this new film is exactly the same, but I'm still interested in it. Interesting. So I didn't realize that was a American remake that we always do. Every time something's big over there, we have to bring it over here.
That's right.
The Vanishing. Anyone heard of it?
That new movie that's out now with James McAvoy.
That's a remake?
That's a remake from like a Danish
I cannot
film
stop seeing ads for that. YouTube is flooding me with ads.
I didn't realize it was a remake because.
I didn't either. Well, there you go. Yeah. Lots of horror stuff coming out. This is a big horror year. Carrie Witt, Chris Reeve could just used his heat vision. Great Escape over. Now that would be. I would watch that.
Right.
Superman versus Nazis.
Yeah. That would be great.
Why not? Do it. Let's see what else you've got here. Ethan Edwards says, not nearly as offensive as Schindler's List 2, Return to Auschwitz. Jeez. Terrible. Great Escape 2, Never Stop Escaping. You know what we need a sequel to? We need an Alcatraz 2. Did they actually make it? Or did they go back and get the fourth guy who didn't make it? Because 3 of them got out and 1 guy didn't.
All right.
There you go. We got to save the 4th guy.
We should make a list.
Prison movies that need sequels. Prisoners.
Shawshank Redemption 2. Prisoners was not prison, was it?
I don't know. I didn't see it. That's
I think it's actually in prison. I think it's just. Oh, actually, I can't tell you what happens.
Oh, spoilers. I actually do want to see that because I love Villeneuve. What else do we got here? Gus says John needs to do Spirit Fingers. So you're not doing enough Spirit Fingers.
Why did I do that before?
I don't know. Jazz hands. You can do jazz hands.
Is that Spirit Fingers? What is Spirit?
I don't know. I guess that's what Spirit. I'm just assuming.
I'll do more often.
Kevin House, John, are you familiar with the class 1945 British psychological horror film Dead of Night?
No.
Wow, putting you on the spot. It's an anthology film consisting of several eerie stories all linked together. You both would love it. I love anthology films.
Is it different directors or is it just different stories put together?
Probably. I'm assuming you got it. You got a laptop right there. You could look it up. I'm assuming it's different directors. Yeah, I don't know why I'm reading the chat. I should let you moderate, but I guess you're the guest. So
I don't know what I'm doing. Are you kidding?
But psychological horror appeals to me, and it's 1945, which is fascinating.
Different directors.
I love
Charles
the poster.
Crichton, Basil Dearden.
Poster looks amazing.
Okay, adding to my list. Thank you.
Baloney. Never forget, no matter how bad a movie is, somewhere in the world there are people who really like them. To each his own.
There's an audience for everything.
There is.
Yeah.
And that's why I try not to be like
working retail many years ago.
I try not to be like dismissive of anything because there's movies for everybody. Yeah. I try to really couch that this is just my opinion, and I have very strange tastes. There's some movies that I just don't like, and there's a bunch of weird movies that I like that no one else does.
But it's good. I like it when you like weird things, or when anybody likes weird things. Like, defend it, just, it's exciting. If we were all the same, it'd be boring, right?
Exactly. I just read a book about that to my 5-year-old.
I'm sure somebody likes Caligula.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that like Caligula.
Legitimately think it's good.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that, but I'm sure there's people that like Caligula for other reasons.
Oh, that's true.
I personally think the Coen brothers' True Grit is heads and shoulders above the original. I kind of love that film.
Correct.
You also like it above the original.
That's one of my favorite Coen brothers movies too.
Wow.
Yeah, the original is just especially now. I mean, it was a huge hit at the time.
Yeah.
But it's very dated. This one just the Coen brothers was just so like soulful and just clever. All the scenes are great. All the different characters that pop in are great. It's perfect.
I'm actually.
And it's only like 90 minutes.
Ooh, in and out. Coen brothers do that. Well, they have some long ones too. But Blood Simple is like the most tight film I've ever seen. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How.
And Sharon says, yeah, it's a much better adaptation of the book. The book is apparently great.
True Grit?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm assuming. I wouldn't assume that a John Wayne movie from the 50s would be a great adaptation of the book.
Yeah.
But no, that's great.
I mean, yeah, that's fine.
There's probably some good adaptations from that period, but
Sure.
you don't like the original at all, or you like it, but it's just not as good.
Take it or leave it. It's fine.
Okay. I'm sure those are fighting words for somebody, but like we just
I
said,
didn't grow up with it. Like a lot of
agree.
people did and didn't like the idea that they made a remake.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was much more accepting of it. So
yeah. That's cool. Let's. Dan Sten says John from TCM. That's what you'll always be known as. That's what I put on your tombstone someday. John from TCM. Man, writing a book right now. So stay tuned, guys. That should be.
It actually says TCM. It will say TCM on it too.
There you go. So you're still with TCM. You just they just don't give you insurance.
That's right.
Jay Hutch, congratulations to Connor for surviving the flight destroyed in the pandemonium. Yeah, he got stranded in Las Vegas for days. Like, I don't know if you guys were. I'm sure everyone heard about it, but the airlines shut down.
It wasn't fun at all. Apparently.
No, he was in the airport the whole time, just sleeping there. Like, ugh. Like airlines were shut down. He could not. It was like it happened the day he landed he was stuck in Las Vegas, and it was just terrible. So sorry about that, Connor. I hate that happened. I wish we could have met you. I mean, I've already met you before, but I wish John could have met you and we could have hung out. Let's see what other people are saying here. We got lots of folks. Great crowd tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for making John's first night here special. This is from Josh, who Haneke is one of my favorite directors. Cash and the Piano Teacher are two of my all-time favorites. Vastly prefer the original Funny Games to the remake. Feel it works better not knowing the actors. Oh, that can take you out sometimes if you know the actors too well. Yeah,
that's true. Those are fairly famous too.
But he just might not be familiar with them because they're older.
Right.
It's cool.
I need to see Cachet again because that was 2005 maybe, and I didn't have a lot of because it kind of deals with like France and Algeria and stuff, and I didn't know what I was doing back then. So knowing more now, I think I would even resonate more. And I also think it was the first Mikhail Haneke film I ever saw, and I wasn't quite sure of his style and stuff. So
yeah.
But Piano Teacher.
Yeah, you've told me about Piano Teacher before.
Yes,
you love Piano Teacher.
And Funny Games, yeah, which we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Amour and White Ribbon. Actually, I guess I've seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. Evil Wax joins us tonight. Hi, DJ. Just able to join tonight. What an amazing group of Criterion 4K releases slated for December. I'm definitely going to be picking up No Country for Old Men, 8.5, and Paris, Texas. Yeah, we did a brief video about this earlier. Mm-hmm. That's up on the channel if you want to watch our reactions to that and see if John can guess what the titles are. But yeah, we could talk about it briefly. Like I said, Grace will definitely be picking up No Country for Old Men. I don't know if I'm going to be getting 8.5 upgraded to 4K because I already have the Blu-ray, and I feel like I'll be okay with that, but I am definitely going to get Paris, Texas as soon as I can because...
That's what I held off on buying, and someone was nice enough to tell me not to buy it.
Yeah, because that's been rumored forever. Yeah. We knew that was coming, so it's awesome that that's finally here, and I'm looking forward to January.
I didn't know the Hong Kong film.
We did not know the Hong Kong film. There's someone in the comments that said it's a pretty popular film and we should know it, but that's not really either of our areas of expertise. So, thanks to Criterion for bringing it to our attention, and hopefully they keep doing that. They've been on a Hong Kong kick lately. Jeffrey Patron, seen any interesting silent movies recently? Have you? I just watched one last night. That was
pull up Letterboxd.
awesome.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, we can pull up our
What'd you watch?
Letterboxd. I watched He Who Gets Slapped last night, which the great Jeffrey Petrone sent to me through my Amazon wish list. Thank you so much. I threw that in there just randomly. I don't know why I had that in my Amazon wish list. I think it was just because it was a clown movie. No, I know why it was in there. Because it is a Victor Sjostrom movie, who I freaking love.
So good.
I love that guy. But he's got some demons he's working out, dude. He makes the most depressing movies of all time, and I love every bit of them. He made Phantom Carriage, which is maybe my favorite silent film of all time. He also did an adaptation of The Scarlet Letter that I absolutely loved. I saw it on TCM, John from TCM.
Yeah.
And there's not even a DVD of it. It doesn't exist. Criterion, I need you to put out a box set of Victor Sjostrom stuff because most of his movies are hard to get your hands on.
The Wind.
The Wind, yes.
Fantastic. I don't know if you ever,
I really want to see that. I also want to watch...
Lillian Gish. And she's like trapped in a house, basically, and there's a storm and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
But Victor Sjostrom mostly worked... He's a Swedish director. Most of his films are in Sweden. He did come to America eventually. That's where he did The Scarlet Letter. But this is He Who Gets Slapped, which is about a clown played by Lon Chaney. Mm-hmm. And he is amazing. And it's just this horrible nightmare story of this guy's life just falling apart. And he becomes a clown whose act is literally just getting slapped in the face and ridiculed and laughed at the entire show. Like, it's just miserable, but it's so good. Oh, I loved it. It's so good. I need a Blu-ray. I got the lovely Warner Archive DVD from Jeffrey. The menu, it's so old. The menu literally doesn't even say the title of the movie or have a picture or anything. It just says play movie. Yeah. It just says play movie, and it's horrible.
How sad.
I need a cleaned up version. I need them to clean up some of his films and put out a box set because he's got some great stuff.
I think the last thing I saw was Way Down East, which I had never seen before, and it was one of those, that's a pretty big classic that I had seen scenes of. There's a famous like ice flow sequence on the river.
Oh, cool.
David Griffith film, and another Lillian Gish. Anyway, it was good. It was good, a little long.
I haven't watched too many silent films, but I watched The Cameraman a while back from Criterion, which is amazing. It's even for Buster Keaton, it's like solid standout. It's really funny.
One, haven't seen it.
The climaxes, his climaxes are always really, really good. Where everything there's like this. He's trying to be this cameraman to impress this girl, like most Buster Keaton films, and he's trying to be like a news cameraman, and he goes to like Chinatown, and he's like recording this parade because he gets a tip that there's going to be like a gang showdown there, and he's just like running around like trying not to get shot and like doing all these gags. It's so good. I also watched Lonesome recently, which is a great silent film. That's actually really, really good.
My book.
Oh, it's a summer movie. It's a summer movie. It's in John's.
It's also just good on its own.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie about like loneliness and depression, and really ahead of its time. I thought.
Love. It's a little romance.
Yeah, well, it's about
Coney Island.
Yeah, it's about two lonely people finding each other. It's great.
It ends well.
Classic.
I just saw
another cool director.
Wings on the big screen, which I think the plan was.
The plan was to see Wings with Connor, but that all fell through, which was a bummer.
So that was great. And you didn't make it, but
I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, let's move on. Thanks for the great question, Jeffrey, and thank you for sending me that movie because I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we get a Blu-ray soon, fingers crossed. Let's see. Patrick, see how it jumps up like that? You finally can see it. Like I was reading a comment, it goes whoosh, and now I'm way behind.
I'm just going to pull the chat up on my own laptop here.
Yeah, go ahead, grab a question. If you see something interesting, just shout it out.
Okay.
Patrick Craig, John, what's your experience with Indian South Asian films, and why are there so few releases despite how many films there are?
I have very...
Do you have insider knowledge on this?
Very little. Actually, Sharon is a huge like Bollywood Indian film
Your
person.
friend Sharon?
I've seen
went
more...
to college with, film school with?
Yeah. Very well seen. She's probably thinking of things to mention to me right now that I should talk about.
Yeah, this is actually something that we've talked about, how we haven't seen many Indian films.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't get distributed here. Actually, they show a lot in the local theaters because there's a huge like...
You just watched
Indian
one recently. What did you watch
population
recently?
here?
A big Indian film that you guys watched? You're never going to remember the title? It was a few months back, but you invited us and we couldn't make it.
Oh, what's the name of that one? It's a famous romance from the 90s where they're in Europe.
Yeah.
DDLJ.
DDLJ, yes.
Which it stands for something.
A lot of times, we just get like acronyms because RRR just came out, which was great. Everybody saw that one.
Yeah. I was working on this 80s book, and the 80s were a terrible time apparently for Indian film, but some interesting stuff because they were doing like Like there was what's the name of that movie?
That's a great question.
It was like there's all these, and they're all music oriented and stuff. So there's like the Disco Dancer was the one I was thinking of. It was like a huge hit in like the Soviet Union. Like they got distributed in weird places, but a lot of there was like an Angry Young Men series at the time. Everything has music and everything's fun and colorful and kind of outrageous. I wish they would show more here mainstream. I wish Criterion would have some stuff, or any of these other labels. Actually, I don't know what's like this. There's rights issues, or they just think the audience isn't there, or what. But I mean, they're hugely popular. So
I got a great question here from. Thanks guys for the great questions tonight. This is a fun stream. And thank you for being here, for inspiring them with your presence, because they get tired of me. I mean, they're bored of me. They see me every single week. There's nothing special there. Francis D, which is a name I don't immediately recognize. Welcome to the stream. What is the James Stewart movie in which he showed the most range? Oh man. You think about that. I'm going to pull up Letterboxd and I mean, I could probably do it off my head. I mean, most in the same movie. Okay, we got to clarify the question. The most range in the same movie, or like the most different thing than he's ever done? Because Harvey is like unlike anything I've ever seen him do. Yeah,
I mean, I tend to go to like Vertigo or something, and I know that doesn't sound like it's a lot of range, but it's just he has the most. Usually
he gets the most over the top in that one a little bit.
Yeah, I think he just gets deeper into character. That's kind of an obvious pick. So
I don't know how to interpret the question, because in Wonderful Life he shows a ton of range in the movie. Like he does, it's his whole life, so it's kind of a cheat. He does everything. But if you want something that's like completely different from him, you can go Harvey, where he's like a crazy person, but he's just the sweetest person. I was going to say that next.
Okay.
Or the other way I could go is Anatomy of a Murder, where he's like completely different than he's like this angry, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain what he's doing in that. He's completely different. I love Destiny Rides Again is so good too.
I mean, he does play a clown in Greatest Show on Earth, so there's that.
I think we're talking about starring roles though, probably.
Probably so.
Man, he's the best. That's why he's my favorite actor.
I should just do a marathon of.
You should. We've been kind of doing that. The man. See, Destiny Rides Again.
I mean, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. That's his. He's got like big, like he's
speeches. He's got like.
Honestly, It's a Wonderful Life. It's probably.
That's what I said. He's like he does everything.
It's gotta be.
That's gotta be the most range. But if you want something that's like completely different, on one side of the spectrum, I would say Harvey, and the other side, I would say Anatomy of a Murder, because he's not Jimmy Stewart in Anatomy of a Murder. He's like a completely different character that he kind of embodies as that lawyer, and it's great. I highly recommend it. It's one of the best court case movies I've ever seen. Dan Stan, John or DJ, what's the most obscure film either of you have seen? Well, I can actually look this up on Letterboxd, because you can rate it by popularity. Most of my stuff's going to be short films. Like I watch a lot of shorts and animated stuff. It looks like the most obscure film that's actually a feature length that I've seen is, what is this? Tarzan the Ape Man from 1959, directed by Joseph M. Newman. Wow. It only has 146 watches on Letterboxd. But yeah, like the most obscure thing is a short from 1935, Ye Old Toy Shop, directed by Paul Terry, that only has 21 watches. But I watch a lot of anime. I watch a lot of shorts.
I mean, I was catching up on some older Sidney Poitier stuff that he made that was like The Mark of the Hawk and some of these things that are Red Bull Express. I guess some of them are fairly known if you know that era of cinema, but I don't think, I don't think there were many reviews of these things on Letterboxd. Go Man Go, which is is that the Harlem Globetrotters film that he made? Yeah. I mean, just totally obscure. Not available. I think I watched it on YouTube, because it's not like, distributed anywhere.
I have to give a shout out to this one, because, so this is my most obscure stuff. Lucky 7. I need an Arrow Video or an Umbrella or somebody to pick up Lucky 7. Lucky 7 only has 223 watches. It is a Japanese movie from 1986. It's like in that big era of like Karate Kids beating up adults, except these ones are like going against like mobsters and gangsters, and this is like raw. Like it's way more intense than like Three Ninjas or whatever we had here in the States. Like these kids are getting brutally beat up by these like giant mobster guys. It is crazy. And these kids are like actual martial artists. They're really cool. It's just such a weird movie. And we had a dubbed version of it here in the States. We had like an American, because that was all the rage in the 90s. Everyone was putting out ninja movies. So they like marketed this like it was a Three Ninjas movie, but just it was like a horrible dub. Like the talking is terrible. My parents owned a martial arts school growing up, so they bought all...
Did you watch a lot of all the karate movies?
If there was any kid movie about like what would you got? Three Ninjas, you got Surf Ninjas, you got all that stuff in the 90s. So Lucky 7, I need a cleaned up version because it's impossible to find. I had to buy.
That looks ridiculous.
It is amazing. Like they have all of these nicknames or small.
Connor watched it.
Yeah, well, I forced him to watch it when he came here. We actually watched it. We actually shot a commentary of it, but it was like super late, and Connor was like falling asleep halfway through, so it did not turn out very well. So I never posted it.
Well, out of him for
but
that.
Check out Lucky 7. It is great. 1986.
Sharon points out.
Super funny movie.
Do you know the film Wavelength?
Most obscure feature I have. Wavelength? No, I don't.
Okay. It's I think it's 45 minutes. It's an experimental film that is by Michael Snow, who's a Canadian avant-garde filmmaker, who it's one shot that slowly zooms in to a little, I think it's a photograph on the wall, over 45 minutes.
And nothing happens?
No, well, you hear things happening, but you don't see. I think maybe somebody walks. Do you hear a man being eaten by bears in the background while Werner Herzog watches? What you hear, you know? Weird. Some people are like, was that a murder that we just heard? Wow. But there's no ninja kids that are beating up mobsters and stealing diamonds? Well, not that I know of. Oh, man. That doesn't sound as fun. Sorry. Yeah. But I'll check it out. We'll do a swap. Well, I don't have it. I don't know what it's probably on YouTube, actually. Look it up. Carrie Witt does $5.99 super chat. Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the donations. Guys, it really helps the channel because this is a channel where literally all I can do is buy things. That's literally the point of the channel. So any donations help, and I really appreciate it. It helps us buy more things so we can show them with you guys. So double feature? Double feature, what's that? Please remedy seeing, DJ with 3 exclamation points. Please remedy seeing No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood soon. In my opinion, 2 of the best films of the last 20 years. Remind me what year There Will Be Blood is? They're both 2007. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Same season. Sure. I don't know if I can do them the same night, but we could watch those soon. They're kind of long. We're going to watch No Country. I'm telling you guys, Grace is going to buy it as soon as she can. She might even not wait for a sale and just pick it up because she's really excited about it. So we'll pick that one up. And There Will Be Blood is one I've always wanted to see. It's just like there's so much stuff to watch. I can't prioritize it. And I don't go to 2000s very often. I usually go back further. So I'm excited to. I don't know what you think about it. It's kind of dark. I love dark stuff. But it's so... I'm excited. And I'm happy that I've made it this far in my life without having either of those spoiled. We'll have milkshakes. Well, he's going to spoil it for me. No, I don't think I spoiled it. But I haven't heard anything about him, so I'm going to keep it that way. Thank you so much for the super chat. I will remember that, because I remember things better when you send me money. That's how it works. It burns it in there. Yep. No, I've wanted to check out those for years. So thank you so much for the reminder. And like I said, we're going to check out at least No Country soon. Hopefully we get a cool release for There Will Be Blood. Or you do a No Country and A Serious Man. That'd be good. That's on the channel right now. I think it's leaving this month, though. So that's one of my favorite Coens, too. We need to check that out. Coen Brothers are great. All right, we're way behind in the chat. Look at all the stuff we got to get to. If we miss it, sorry, guys. You're going to have to leave it again because the chat is flying by. Connor likes the True Grit from 69. Good for you. Oh, he prefers a 69 better than a 2010. I mean, he's wrong. Remake is mid. Wow, you guys have to fight about that when you finally meet. Michael Smith, Welder Story Time. All right, yes, we're going to talk about this. There's a video on the channel about this when I switched over the name last year. The Welder was an inside joke. For those of you who don't know, I used to work on a different YouTube channel than this. All about welding. The concurrent viewers is going to plummet while we're talking about this because nobody cares. But Michael Smith asked, so I'm going to talk about it. There's another YouTube channel I used to work for called Geekvolution. That's where I start. I never ever thought I would start a YouTube channel, but because I had so much fun like working on that other channel and doing live streams over there, it kind of just, I don't know, I just had a good time and I want to do it over here. So The Welder was an inside joke on that channel because back in 2016, the summer of 2016, I got to be an extra on Spider-Man Homecoming, which they shoot all the Marvel movies here in Atlanta. And I got to be a student at Peter's school, even though I was like 24 at the time. I think I was like 22 or something. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I got to film a bunch of scenes there. And the big scene that I got to be in the most on camera was the shop class scene. I'm the guy welding right behind him, and got to meet Tom and Jacob, and we had a good time. That's awesome. That shoot took a long time, so we were there all day, and they were really cool guys and talking about movies and stuff. So yeah, that was a really fun experience. I mentioned that on the channel because it was kind of a geeky
superhero-related channel, so it was appropriate to talk about it there. And then all of the people in the chat started calling me the Welder. It was like this running joke. So when I finally started my own channel, I didn't know what to call it. I had no name in mind, so I was just like, let's call it the Welder. It'll be fun. Because at the time, I was like, no one's going to watch my channel. It's only going to be people coming over from Geekvolution.
Yeah, you were like a spin-off.
Yeah, it was like it was a spin-off channel. That's a great way to put it. So it was an inside joke for them. And then I started getting my own audience. And most of the audience now doesn't even know about Geekvolution or that joke at all. So
I don't even know about it.
It made no sense to keep it going, so I had to change the name to Films by Color, because that's my thing. Gotta brand. Gotta keep it in the branding. Thanks for the question, Michael Smith. I've talked about that before, but there's always someone who doesn't know the story. Let's see.
Jeffrey's right.
They're fighting over True Grit.
Yeah.
Ethan Edwards. John, did you ever meet Robert Osborne?
Yes.
Nice.
But only once. Very briefly. I was on one of the TCM cruises, the very first one, and I started there in like 2014. He usually shot in New York City, not in Atlanta, which is where I worked.
Yeah.
So I didn't see him on a regular basis, but he was still filming at that point. He passed away in early 2017, I think, and he had stopped working for like 6 months before that. So it was like kind of touch and go as far as like when I would see him, or we didn't even know what his future was. So, but I did see him on the cruise in 2015 that year, and I actually hadn't seen him on the boat, and I think it was one of the last days, and I was like, can I just go up and talk to him? And somebody brought me into the green room. And
did you have like a name tag or TCM shirt on or anything?
No, I don't think so. I think I was like got a jacket on or something. But he was very nice, and he was talking to somebody else, but he just kind of somebody introduced him to me, and then we chatted for like 5 minutes. But
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well,
really nice guy.
Going along with that, Brent asks, curious, John, have you ever met Ben Makowitz?
Oh yeah.
You know him?
Yeah.
Closer with him? Because you knew the hosts, like you knew Alicia Malone.
I actually, of all the hosts, I know him the least.
Okay.
For some reason, I think he's also a little bit more.
He's the highest profile.
Yeah, he's got a lot to do.
He's so freaking
but like Dave and
interesting
Alicia
to listen to.
And Eddie Muller.
Yeah, Alicia Malone is great.
She's fantastic. She's great. Dave Carter is the nicest person in the world. I just have blanked on what's her name.
Oh no. Don't worry, she'll never see
Who does Silent Sunday Nights. Anyway, she's really nice too. So, and I saw them at all at events and stuff like that, and they would do shoots in Atlanta. Dave actually did. I was on TCM talking about my summer movies book, and he was the one I was chatting with. So that was good. And then I helped him work on his book that he just put out on 50 Oscar nights. They just came out last year. So Anyway,
you should get a credit on that one.
They're all really great people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. And yeah, the TCM building is like Turner has been here my whole life in Atlanta. I never even, you were probably there most of the time while I was at college and stuff in the city.
Yeah.
You were right there.
While you were at college.
Carrie Witt wants to know what the next big 4K Criterion rumor, aka what should I hold off on, LOL. Yeah, so people in the chat, let us know.
And how do we find out? Like, what's the best place?
I think Reddit is where all that stuff goes down. Like,
okay.
you gotta dig through so much. I'm following the Criterion Reddit, but it's a lot to keep up with. Let's see. Ethan Edwards, I love all Buster Keaton, but for Our Hospitality is my favorite, most amazing stunt ever. That's high praise for Keaton, because every movie has some crazy stuff.
I can't remember which one's which.
That's kind of what's fun about Cameraman, though, is there's no huge big stunt. It's just kind of like a bunch of little funny, it's more comedic. And it's crazy that's the only one in Criterion. I don't know why they don't have more of his stuff. I think it's great. I have not seen Our Hospitality yet. Have you seen Our Hospitality?
I have seen it, but I don't remember. You
watch too many of them. You can't keep them straight.
Yeah.
Well, your favorite is Sherlock Jr. That's your favorite.
Oh, it's such a great movie.
It's
one
of your favorite movies ever.
It's just, it's packed full of stuff.
And it's short. It's 45.
It's only 45 minutes. I always love a short movie.
Yeah. Cameraman's pretty.
Nothing should ever be
too.
Longer, you know?
Nothing should ever be longer than 45 minutes. That's what John says.
But longer than it is. Like, shorter usually is better.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Sherlock Jr. great.
Oh gosh, this
Steamboat Bill actually just out the Plaza, or not the Plaza.
We watched that at the
Strand. Yeah,
that's right. We played that at the Strand with some live organ accompaniment. It was great. Those are like my favorite. I think Sherlock Jr., Steamboat Bill, and The General. I think those are like my top three.
Yeah.
Francis D. And there's a box set with those three from Eureka that I want so bad, but it's like way overpriced.
Oh, Our Hospitality has the waterfall sequence. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Ooh.
This thing.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Anyway.
No spoilers. But I do want to watch that one. And I have
Yeah.
it, I think. I have it back there. I got most of his stuff. Jay Hutch. Oh, here we go. This is a hard one. Francis D with the hard-hitting questions tonight. What is the first movie that made you become a cinephile? That's such an interpretive question.
I know this.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I just know.
Trace it back?
It was a formative moment in my.
Well, tell me all about it, sir.
And I've talked about it on this channel before. I think it was Raging Bull.
Interesting.
Interesting
because that's not one of your favorites.
No,
now.
I don't like it now.
You don't like it now.
It's fine. It's good. It's not one of my.
Oh yeah, because you basically told me that was like the first one when you were in high school where you're like, oh, this is like a movie.
Basically. I was going through the AFI Top 100 that had just come out a couple years before, and I was checking them off, and it was just and I had seen like Casablanca and stuff, which is fantastic. These are all great movies, but I watched this one. It was just so. It's about the guy really going through something on screen, and I just hadn't seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
And his demons and his just aggression and the way that it was shot so viscerally and edited together, it's such an impressive movie, especially when you're 16.
Yeah.
So that, and then the other one would be, which is completely different, but The Grapes of Wrath, the John Ford movie. Because it's also, and
I haven't seen that. It's one of my favorite books. I'm worried. I'm worried that I like the book too much.
I think it's a good adaptation.
Okay.
From what I know, but it's also the way that that's shot. It felt like a lot of the photography from the era, like from the Dust Bowl and all that stuff, and it was just that one just sucked me in too. So, and it's kind of unconventional. I mean, you read the book. It's basically the story that's in the book. It doesn't feel like a typical Hollywood film from that era.
Oh yeah, the book's just a lot of meandering around.
It's a little
having intimate moments with people.
Yeah,
so.
It doesn't. I remember, Well, anyway, it's great. Just watch it.
I want to watch that and East of Eden. I'm just worried. I'm worried about adapting.
But what was yours?
See, I don't know. Like first film ever. Like you're going all the way back to high school. I don't know if I have. I probably have that at some point. But I think the turning point for me, and I've told this story before too on the channel, was probably It's a Wonderful Life. That may be the first black and white movie I saw.
Wow.
And that's what.
Yeah, that's probably, that may be true for
well,
people.
maybe not. I'm sure I've seen some things from when I was a kid and like growing up with my grandma and stuff. But like, Grace showed me It's a Wonderful Life. It was always one of those ones I'd always heard of. I love Christmas movies. I watch Christmas movies every December.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people that's like, I don't want to go back to it. Because I was kind of one of those people. And it's weird now because I freaking love that era of Hollywood and stuff. But yeah, I finally watched it with her. It like broke me, of course, because I think it was around either becoming a dad or about to become a dad and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that broke me. And then it was the combination of like watching that, and then HBO Max launched. And HBO Max had all the TCM movies. John from TCM. Mm-hmm. He no relation to HBO Max. But
TCM has no relation to HBO Max.
That's true. They just grabbed all their stuff and put it on there. But yeah, so I started watching the TCM movies on there. This is before I even knew what Criterion was. I started watching other Christmas movies. I watched Christmas in Connecticut. I watched a couple other old black and white Christmas movies. And that like opened my eyes to a whole new world of cinema, because there's like decades and decades of stuff I hadn't watched. And then I went from there to, I think, High Society, which is like a remake of Philadelphia Story. They had a lot of weird stuff. And so I just started watching stuff on TCM, and I just started broadening my horizons more and more. And then I got into the Criterion collection, and that's like, so there's probably really great movies that I watched, high school era and stuff like that. I was already into movies, but it wasn't until I started getting into all that TCM stuff that I went back to older stuff.
Well, I remember telling somebody in like 5th grade that I wanted to be Steven Spielberg when I grew up. And that was like after Jurassic Park had come out and Schindler's List. And he was like, I mean, he still is a huge director, but that was his prime, So I guess it's been a while. I mean, that was well before.
There's a key part of that story that I left out when I told it this time was I got pneumonia during Christmas. Yeah. So I was locked in the room with nothing to do but watch old Christmas movies. So that's why I was there, not hanging out with family. And that helped a lot. So if you get sick, watch a lot of movies. But I mean, before that, I had like my high school like film journey was when like all those mid-2000s like independent, that big boom of independent films. We had Little Miss Sunshine and like Sideways and The Way, all that stuff.
I got so sick of those movies.
That's where like high school DJ, that's where you started watching other films that weren't like genre stuff, like sci-fi and fantasy and superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So I had that through high school. No, I think I was like, high school and early college. And then I, had this story. So there's different eras of, I think I've always been a cinephile, always been into movies. But I think, if you're saying cinephile, I'm assuming he means like more older classic stuff. So that's why I went that direction. What else are people saying here?
Jeffrey had the right title there, so.
Oh, thank you. Let's put that up there. DDLJ.
Let's look that up. I think if you Google DDLJ, though, it will come up.
Yeah, it's known by that. That was on the tickets. Dan's Den, favorite pre-code early sound film. Oh, gosh. These are hard questions tonight. How can I look that up quickly on Letterboxd? I don't think I can.
Just look up pre-code and it'll...
Just give us a list.
Someone will have a list.
Someone will have a list.
I have an answer to this.
Go ahead.
Well, if you want like pre-code, I would go with, Babyface is great, but Merrily We Go to Hell is really good.
Ooh, I didn't realize that was pre-code.
And then there's, Female with Ruth Chatterton. That one's a great one. What else? Oh, I was thinking of Footlight Parade, actually, originally, which is a Busby Berkeley musical. It's the one with James Cagney in the lead. And if you only know James Cagney from, like, Public Enemy and White Heat and stuff, like, this is... I don't know. He was a musical guy, so this is his forte, and he's terrific in it. And it's, like, got the best Busby Berkeley stuff in it, too. So, yeah, I would say Footlight Parade.
One of my favorites is the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 31. Brutal, like good. I thought I was expecting like just a fun horror movie, but like the sexual assault stuff in that movie is intense with Miriam Hopkins. And
like the makeup work in this too is incredible.
Absolutely.
For the time.
The visual effects are nuts in that movie. So it hits both. It checks all the boxes. Another one.
Invisible Man
is one of my favorites. I don't really think about that like a pre-code, but it is. Design for Living. Crazy.
Oh yeah, Design for Living.
Crazy. Not a horror movie, but like a threesome or a throuple movie. And it's crazy what they could do in pre-code times. It's nuts. And then we watched a lot of the pre-code horror movies last year, which were great. Like Freaks. Freaks is a lot of fun. That's a movie.
Trouble in Paradise.
I need the full version of Freaks. We're never gonna get it. It's all lost at this point. But like, that's one that I really want. But Trouble in Paradise, another good one. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Trouble in Paradise is great. We've been watching, Grace fell in love with Miriam Hopkins when we watched Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, so we've been watching a lot of Miriam Hopkins films.
So much. Most Dangerous Game is really good.
Yes.
That's a great one.
That's another
Story of Temple Drake.
Freaky one. Yeah, we haven't watched that one yet, but that's another one we want to watch. So yeah. Happened One Night. Created the rom-com. It's great.
Grand Hotel. It's not one of my favorites, but people should watch that.
Love pre-code films. They're great.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good ones. But great question. Was that Jeffrey who asked that?
Nope. Dan's Den.
Dan's Den. Thanks, Dan's Den, for the great questions. What else do we have? Baloney, do you both have any idea why Criterion does 2K scans of some movies and 4K scans of others? From what I hear, it's basically just what they think will sell. Like, it costs more to produce 4K discs, and if it's not a huge movie that they think is going to sell really well, then they have to go with the 2K scans. That's why we got 3 4Ks this month, and then the lesser-known Hong Kong film was the only Blu-ray that wasn't a 4K.
That surprises me.
It's a bummer, but I guess it's just business.
They know what's going to sell and what's not.
Yeah. Or they can guess what's going to sell and what's not.
Or just the elements, I suppose.
Yeah.
They have. So.
What they can afford. Carrie Witt, I just did a Rear Window and Body Double feature over the weekend. Love them both. Also a Body Double 4K coming next week. Oh, yes. Wow. Interesting. Yes. We'll talk about that on the show next week. I just rewatched Rear Window as well a couple weeks ago.
Rear Window is...
Perfect film.
Chef's kiss.
It's amazing.
It's great. And Body Double's fun, too. It's got some Rear Window elements to it. Some Vertigo elements and stuff. Some Dial In for Murder elements. It's good.
Joshua LeBur, holy crap, I've seen Lucky 7. Completely forgot about that movie.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow. Thank you, Josh, for making me feel heard. Yeah, it was great. It was titled like 7 Lucky Ninja Kids here in America, but it's called Lucky 7 in Japan. It's amazing. It's one of a kind. Daniel Banks, are you getting anything from Imprint?
Is Imprint the Australian one?
Imprint is, that's like insanely expensive. Like, their stuff is so expensive. I have the Odd Couple box set back there. I have the Martin Scorsese box set right there. So I cherry pick. Things that I really want, but it's too expensive to really like get invested in their stuff, like because it costs so much to import it over here.
Yeah,
and the prices are insane. So I will try. Oh, Brent's seen it too. DJ, I've actually seen Lucky 7 years ago. It's hilarious.
You have the perfect audience.
I have the best subscribers. You guys are the best. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a nutso film. I want to watch it right now. I wish you didn't have to go home. We could watch it right now. And the chat just jumped way up, and I'm completely lost. We're going to have to speed through this. We're running out of time. It is an hour 20. We'll go for about 10, 15 more minutes. Thank you guys so much for the chat. Lots of engagement tonight. You guys are the best. Let me speed through this. Kevin House, Jimmy Stewart plays a really dark character in Anthony Mann's The Naked Spur. Interesting. I want to watch more of those Anthony Manns. Have you seen any of those? I saw Winchester 73. That's the only one I saw.
I saw one of them.
I really want a box set of those. That's on my wish list for Criterion to put out. They need to put out a box set of those. Ethan Edwards started the channel as a joke, and now you have a celebrity guest. Look at me.
Is he here?
John from TCM. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is.
Oh.
Evil Wax, John, has TCM ever asked you to do an introduction to a film on the channel?
I did 4 from my book in conversation with Dave.
We should have grabbed your book. It's right over there on my shelf. Summer movies. It's up there. Check it out. Amazon.com.
I did Moon Over Miami, Gidget, Key Largo, and Mr. Hula's Holiday. Which is good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Carseek, hello. Would like to know the maker of your video shelf case. Looks built to last. Want one like it. Well, his name is Stuart. He is a carpenter here in Atlanta, Georgia, and he made them from scratch. Took about a week to get them all the way made. Very, very expensive, but we wanted like full built-in shelves. I'm not a big fan of the look of like the flimsy little like ones that you buy. You kind of, because they're so skinny, you have to have like dividers like every couple feet, and we wanted like these big wide like just straight bookend shelf or built-in shelves that you would see like at bookshelves or whatever. So we had this guy at our last house. If you watch some of my older videos, you can see it's a different shelf behind me. We had it built there. He did that for us. So then we had him come out and do these shelves for us. And there's a whole nother section over there. There's a third section. Very, very expensive. We had, I guess I'm getting inside baseball. We had some leftover money when we sold our last house, so we were able to do this. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
It's really nice.
Very
I wish I could do this in my house, but
yeah, very expensive. And there is shelves up top that are like a top of the shelves where you can put bigger stuff, oversized stuff that doesn't fit. You never see that on camera. And then there's also the third shelf over there that's the Criterion corner with all the Criterion stuff. So it's a live stream. We don't have to keep the framing. We can do whatever we want.
Let's pick the phone up and walk around.
Just give a tour of the house. Henry Bidenkamp, John, I remember seeing you on the TCM wine commercials, drinking and enjoying the company. Really?
I did it for 1 year. Like we did a new commercial every year, and they had a few TCM staffers like sitting around a table eating and drinking for amazing. A very long time one day.
How long did the shoot? Were you drinking real wine?
6 hours? 7, something like that.
Amazing.
It took longer than you would think that it would for a 30-second commercial, but
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Wow. Very cool.
Yes.
Jeremy
I helped run that too, so I was sort of working behind the scenes with the wine companies and all that stuff. So.
Sweet. I wish I knew you back then.
Yeah.
Jeremy Hansen, for me it was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Never had seen a movie like it before.
Wait, go back up here.
Oh, talking about
Connor? Yes, Connor and Posty.
Talking about Amadeus. Yeah, Connor says, I personally take a little stock in physical media rumors. Amadeus 4K has been about to be announced for about 5 years now.
I need it.
I don't know. I think people are just so excited about that happening that they just want it to happen. And they're trying to will it into existence.
You know.
I don't know. I can't help you.
Brothers.
I have no sway. You have more sway than me. You know some Criterion people, right?
I would like anybody. I need the theatrical cut though, specifically. So.
What do we have here? Gilster37. John Cassavetes popped my cherry about films.
Okay, that's
there you go. That's a good one to get into.
I watched Gloria recently. That was pretty good. That was like 1980. It's kind of one of his later films with his wife, who just passed, Jenna Rollins, who just passed away. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Woman Under the Influence.
A lot of people talking about their films that got them into film. Evil Wax says, for me, it was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It was the first foreign movie I had seen it all at the theater. The floodgates were opened and I would never turn back. Well, see, for me, the first foreign movie I saw, of course, was Lucky 7 as a kid and loved it. Ethan Edwards, It's a Wonderful Life is great, but I prefer Shop Around the Corner. Also great. It's like also one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. It's like in my top 5. So good. And speaking of Jimmy Stewart, excellent performance in that.
There's been some good versions of Shop Around the Corner too, because there was one in the 40s. with what's her name, Judy Garland, and there was one, and
I
guess there was. I guess Trouble in the Corner is the best one, but
yeah,
it's a story that works.
And
in
it's
forms,
Lubitsch.
It is.
Criterion needs to do that. Why is that not in the Criterion collection? Come on. What else do we got here? Jeffrey Bertrand, High Side isn't Yar with the Philadelphia Story, but it should be noted the Louis Armstrong intro is a delight. Yeah, it is. That's a fun movie. It's not a great movie.
High Society's good.
Philadelphia Story is obviously much better. But if you want if you watch Philadelphia Story and said, I need more musical numbers and Bing Crosby in this movie, there you go. That's exactly what it is. And they have an amazing bar that like opens up from the bookshelf. Do you remember that? Like super rich.
No.
But like the bookshelf, it's like these amazing bookshelves from floor to ceiling, and then spins around and there's a bar in it.
I love that.
I would love that.
Music's great. It's Cole Porter. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about Hitchcock. Didn't someone ask about like favorite Hitchcock movie?
I don't know, but we can talk about that.
What's your favorite Hitchcock movie?
Probably still Psycho. I don't know if anything will top it,
Yeah.
just because I got so into that lore and everything.
Rear Window would probably be mine.
Rear Window, it's just as good. It's probably, I can like objectively say it's better, but Psycho appeals to me more. But yeah, Rear Window's my number 2 for sure.
I watched Rebecca on the big screen a few years ago, and it was so great. And the audience, full audience, and it was like, I got so wrapped up in it. That was a movie that I kind of had watched on home video before, and just didn't work for me as well at home.
Yeah.
But in a theater with a bunch of people, it just, it looks so good. I didn't realize it looked so good, you know?
Yeah.
Really involving. It's a little bit, because he made it was his first American film when he was working with David O. Selznick, and he had his own priorities for how to make the film and stuff. So he was kind of working his magic through the Hollywood studio system in a way that he wouldn't have to do as much later. Like he would just make it, But anyway, Rebecca, it's quite good.
Shout out to Strangers on a Train.
Look at all these movies, though.
Strangers on a Train is great as well.
It is.
And 39 Steps was surprisingly good.
Yes.
We were watching through all the early ones on Criterion, and that one, like, I think it's like cut above the rest of those ones. Like, it really stands out. Foreign Correspondent we watched recently was not crazy about.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's one of those. It's like it like turns into a propaganda movie like halfway, which makes sense. It was like during the war. I don't begrudge them that, but yeah, it was kind of.
I love The Birds too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw that one very early. I haven't rewatched it. I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand why people are a little bit on that one, but to me, it's like, okay, why are the birds attacking? Why are the birds attacking the birds? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
There's no real explanation.
No,
but
there's not even really an ending. It just kind of ends.
It's because we want them to. Right? So it's like
I don't want to be
perfect
attacked by
movie
birds.
about audience expectation, about just like, I don't know. It's just such a pure like little exercise of genre. It's fantastic. I love it. Of course, I just also love like creature feature, like animals attacking, like alligator and stuff.
We should watch all those Kino Cole movies that came out last week with the rats and the ants.
Let's do that. I would get frogs and
frogs. Yes,
them.
That one looked the best. Them is amazing. I'll watch them with you any day of the week. I love them. Them's great. Ethan Edwards. The difference between DVD and Blu-ray is huge. The difference between Blu-ray and 4K is not always that big. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that's like kind of the common thing that gets thrown out, but
depends on your
setup for sure. I feel like you can.
To me, it makes no difference because I have like a 55-inch TV, which is big enough, and 4K is not going to do that much good.
Yeah, and it depends on the transfer. Like certain transfers are way different than other ones. Connor Nielsen, Rear Window is one of the greatest, and it jumps up. You saw that right in the middle of me reading it.
It does.
It jumped up like 40 more messages. One of the greatest things ever made. Thank you, Connor, for your message. Kevin House, Jane Darwell is so great as Ma Jode in The Grapes of Wrath. Man, lots of stuff tonight. We're going to have to start cherry picking because we are out of time. It's an hour and a half, and people are still throwing questions all right. You look there and see if there's any questions you want to see. Love the TCM wine for Rear Window presentation-wise. Still need to open that bottle. Yeah, you have a bunch of TCM wine from your time there, right? They gave you like samples? You brought some over. You brought me a Harold Lloyd one that we drank.
I still have cases full.
You gotta start bringing them over. We just put a bar in the theater downstairs, and we have there's like a little part to display. There's a shelf to display.
You don't really like
bottles.
wine though.
I'm not a big wine drinker, but I'll drink it. I prefer whiskey, but if it's movie themed, I can get in on it. Yeah. It doesn't taste good. I don't like it, but I'll suck it up and drink it.
You can work on that.
If it's
Ethan Edwards says
on theme.
Amadeus isn't that great. I
don't
know what to say to that.
Ethan Edwards, he likes to go against the grain.
I respect you, but
Oh, interesting. This is a great question. Ethan Edwards, do you regret doing cabinets on the bottom rather than shelves the full length now that you're about out of space? No. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish we would have went all the way bottom. But most of the time it's for the better because there's a bunch of stuff in there that I can hide in there. Like I got all these old movies and DVDs. I'm just like, shove them in there because they wouldn't look good on the shelf. Also, I can stand on the cabinets and reach the top. Look, I don't have a ladder set up yet. I should get a ladder installed. That would be amazing, like a rolling ladder.
Yeah,
yes, that'd be so good. But no, the cabinets are great, but I have had that thought before. I was like, man, I could have had another 2 shelves down there. But I do have 2 shelves down there. They're just in the cabinet. And it's nice to have some stuff that you can hide. Because this is my office, so it's nice to have junk that I can hide under there. And then he says Amadeus isn't that great. So direct all your hate mail to Ethan Edwards at gmail.com, I'm assuming, if you got the original. I don't know. Tired Boy, the lads always love when John is around. Have either of you seen American Movie? Super excited for that 4K release. Very unexpected. Ha ha.
No, I haven't. I've meant to many times. I haven't seen it.
What is this? American Movie?
It's like is it a documentary? What's the deal? They're trying to make a movie and...
Chris Smith.
Yeah.
So like wow. Nope, I've not seen it. Is it streaming anywhere?
It was on Criterion a while ago.
Oh, it's on Amazon Prime right now. Okay. And Tubi, if you have free Tubi.
There you go.
Check it out. Apparently there's a new release, a 4K release coming out. That's really cool.
I forget things.
Everything's coming out on 4K these days. Michael Smith, John, the ending of Gloria makes no sense. How does Gene Rollins know where the kid is going to be? Wow, spoilers on the channel. Cover your ears if you haven't seen Gloria.
I don't remember.
John doesn't remember. It doesn't remember anyway, so it's fine.
There's too much in the head right now. I don't remember. I trust you.
What else are people saying? Ethan Edwards says Sabotage is Hitchcock that needs a Blu-ray.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Sabotage. Does it not have a Blu-ray? I feel like it has a Blu-ray.
There's a few back then, like in the 30s and 40s that just don't for some reason. That's like, what, 42? Or am I thinking of Saboteur?
Oh, yeah. I think that's what I'm thinking of, too. Or, yeah. I think I was thinking of that.
Is that what you're thinking of?
Or Suspicion. I have this, I think Suspicion is on this one. I have this like box set that has 4 different ones. But yeah, I could have sworn Sabotage, but I might be thinking of Saboteur. I think it's on one of the 4K box sets.
Okay.
But he has a ton of movies. So yeah, it makes sense that there's a bunch that haven't been released. The Lodger really surprised me when I got the Criterion released.
Oh, The Lodger's so good.
That's a good one. That's one I haven't seen yet. I don't think that's in the 4 box. Yeah, we watched all 4 of them, but we haven't seen that one yet. Holy smokes. We keep losing the chat. Thank you guys so much for all of the chat. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to get to everything tonight, but we are, I don't know, should we go a little longer tonight since the special episode?
Let's keep going. Come on.
Let's go for a little bit. John doesn't want to go home. Let's see.
I'm not going to do this every week, all right?
Jeffrey Patron, there's still time for a TCM to get into whiskey. That would be amazing.
We joked about doing that.
What? They did the freaking Noir Bar book. Why don't they do a whiskey? He's a bunch of whiskey in there. And they got him, that guy. He's worked with them before, right? The big noir guy,
yeah. He'd probably go for that. I just think it's more complicated to do.
You could pair it.
Different types of alcohol through shipping. I mean, I guess there's ways to do it, but we worked with a wine company, so in order to do whiskey, it would have been more.
Just have to find a different thing. That would be awesome, though. Yeah. I would love to pair certain whiskeys with movies.
Yeah.
Jason, I think HDR is what really sets 4K apart. Yeah, you got to get the Panasonic. I talked about the Panasonic 4K player before. It's got HDR and it works really well. American Movie was like the ultimate fan favorite documentary. American Movie is the funniest movie of the last 30 years, says Posty. Wow. We apparently have to watch this movie. And also Brent says American Movie is one of my favorite documentaries ever. So hilarious. Well, I can't compete with Nuts, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, which is the bar for documentaries apparently. Although we haven't seen it yet, but we need to.
I almost checked. So our video store, Videodrome here, had it. And I sent you in.
Like you sent me a picture of it, and I was like, "Don't check it out yet because you're doing Doctober."
I'm doing Doctober.
So he's gonna be watching documentaries next month. So he's got
to save up because I always say I'm gonna do it and I don't. So.
I'm not gonna be doing it with you. I'm gonna be watching spooky movies because I have a lot of spooky movies to catch up on. We just got a $5 super chat from Jeffrey Patron. Hey. Thank you so much. All the guys who have given super chats tonight. It's been a wonderful stream. This has been a fun stream. Great to have John as a guest. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Patron, for your $5. And anything you want to say to Jeffrey? You love his Letterboxd. Shout out to his Letterboxd.
I do. I don't know how you watch so much. You've seen more than all of us put together. So, and you're good at like putting comments. I'm not good at commenting on everything.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, because I've
been doing better lately.
I don't know necessarily what I think, and B, it's like, does anybody care? You know.
Same. I try to just write something for myself.
So I just want to log it so that I know that I watched
remember.
it.
Yeah, because I I've watched so many things, it's hard to keep them all straight. So I try to write something for myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes people read it, and that's cool. Gilster37, Time Bandits is my favorite Criterion. Time Bandits is a great Criterion.
Have you gone through that and watched the special features and all that? Like,
no, I haven't. I watched that back when it was on the channel. I haven't watched it since. I haven't rewatched it since I bought it. But
since Grace got it for you.
Yeah, for a Father's Day gift. Yeah. Very cool. Back when it was worth a lot of money, and now it's worth nothing because they released the 4K re-release of it. But Time Bandits is great. I think it's one of my favorite Gilliams. Yeah, that's up there. It's okay. It's good.
He's got a lot of. I mean, he's got Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah. I like Munchausen. Munchausen's probably my favorite that I've seen.
Wait a second.
Kevin House says Vertigo is his favorite Hitchcock film. Joey, do either of you feel kind of bummed when they announce a 4K upgrade? Oh, absolutely. We've done a whole video about this. Me and Connor talking about the ups and downs of the 4K upgrade problem and it always happens right after I buy the Blu-ray, especially now because I'm getting into it late. Like the people have been into it forever. They already have all the big ones, but I just bought Red Shoes, and then the 4K was announced the next month. And then I just bought Dreams.
It happens a lot.
And the 4K was announced the next month. So yeah, it's a bummer. It's not that I absolutely need the 4K. I'm not one of those guys. But if I would have just waited a month, then I could have got the 4K.
There was something that just happened to me where I just bought it and it was
something recent. Yeah. In one of the videos.
Honestly, I don't care necessarily because I don't have to upgrade. I think if I have a Blu-ray, that's good enough for now.
Yeah, like I said,
if something comes out, I will probably buy the 4K
huge
instead.
Deal breaker. I'm not upset about it, but it's just that I just bought it. It's like if I would have just waited, because I'm not going to watch it.
You know what ticks me off is when they put out a box set of like the Fellini box set or something, and then they release a 4K of 8.5 or something.
Yeah, I've seen in the comments of our video, most people
what are we supposed to do with this?
Most people aren't going to upgrade 8.5 because they have the box set and they don't need it.
It's an amazing movie. If you don't own any form of that movie, you should buy it. But
yeah, I'll probably hold out for the box set. Honestly, I don't want a definitive box set and then a bunch of little stragglers. Also, it seems like a weird thing to fill up your collection with. Let's see. Oh, John is moving in. DJ, you're not leaving? You're staying? We got the guest room downstairs.
I don't even have a toothbrush here. It's like I need something.
It's true. I actually got a fresh toothbrush I just got from the dentist the other day. I haven't opened yet. You can take that one.
Well, maybe
There's a guest room downstairs ready for you. Kevin House, the umbrella scene in Foreign Correspondent is fantastic. Oh, absolutely. The umbrella scene and the ending of Foreign Correspondent, that's the assassin scene. And then the ending of Foreign Correspondent is absolutely insane. I don't know how they shot it. It's like in a huge tank. Like it's supposed to be in the ocean. You remember the plane crash? It's crazy. Foreign Correspondent is great.
No,
it lags a little bit, but there's some great scenes in it. Let's see. Joey, you feel compelled to upgrading to 4K. What would make you upgrade? One of my favorite films of all time, maybe. If it's actually, that hasn't happened to me yet. But what does make me feel compelled to upgrade is if it's
from a Blu-ray to a 4K.
Yeah, it has to. It can't just be the transfer. It has to be something huge. I am very tempted to get the Second Sight Picnic at Hanging Rock 4K because it's just another experience. It's this massive. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's this huge box set.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. And I would upgrade for that. Something like that.
Yeah,
it has to be worth it to upgrade. It can't just be the transfer.
It would have to be one of my favorite films of all time, and it would have to have something special. I'm not going to upgrade to a Criterion that has the same special features and stuff. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense
Red Shoes, and most of the time, Criterion doesn't even change the artwork. It's the same exact case and artwork and everything.
Right.
Red Shoes was exactly the same.
If it was somebody Arrow puts out a 4K of something with a box set,
Last Emperor. There's an example. Last Emperor got a big Arrow Deluxe limited edition box set.
Yeah.
Criterion's about to release just the same thing again with the 4K transfer.
If they put out a Rear Window, but I don't know. I guess I have a cheap Blu-ray of that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I have to love the movie.
It has to be one of our favorites, and it has to be a huge improvement. Let's see.
Crumb
better be part of October.
Yeah, that's another one I saw
a long time ago. In the forgotten years.
College. Yeah, I was telling him there was a phase in my life where I saw stuff, and then there was a sea change, and everything I saw previously that I saw again, I felt completely different about. Yeah. So it could be from back then. Crumb's great. Crumb's Terry Zwigoff, and he did Ghost World and some other stuff. Which
I'm on the fence about. I want to watch Crumb, but I wasn't crazy about Ghost World. Ethan Edwards, I love documentaries, but October is Halloween movie time.
Yeah, I understand. I don't go for
John's
horror
not
stuff,
he's not evangelistic about this. He's just that's what he's doing.
People can do their own thing.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
I will watch Young Frankenstein on Halloween, but other than that, I don't have a. That's just a tradition.
That's a tradition that you always do. Yeah.
I wait for people to come trick or treating, which they don't usually because there's just no kids in my area apparently. But so I eat candy and I watch Young Frankenstein.
Hey. You like what you like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeffrey Patron, I'm with John on the box set thing with Fellini, considering some of the movies in the set are now OOP outside of the set. Interesting. Yeah, that's a weird situation with those. Yeah. Ethan Edwards, I've been collecting so long. How long have you? So long, I've had many movies on VHS, then Letterboxd, VHS, then DVD, then Blu-ray, now 4K. Wow. Wow, old timer. You've been at this a long time. Do you have any laser discs? You have any laser discs?
I have some.
Oh.
I didn't buy them as laser discs. I think I acquired some.
What about Beta?
I have some of the original Criterion ones.
Oh.
What?
What about Beta?
I had...
Beta tapes.
No, I don't think I do anymore.
Dang it. Okay.
I had one of Raiders of the Lost Ark for a long time, but I think it was like I think it got...
Do you have a laser disc player?
At one point. I did, but I didn't have a cord for it, so we took it back to...
Oh, wow. That's a bummer.
Store or something, but yeah.
I'd love to get some of those original.
They're fun to play with, though. They're like giant CDs. Really, they're
like records.
It's like vinyl, but it's a different thing. It's like it's a big silver disc. It looks like you're like a tiny.
That's true. It is. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's crazy. I would have loved to be alive in that time.
I have the King Kong one where they did. It was the first. I think that was right.
King Kong. The first, It's a Wonderful Life. Robin Hood. There's a lot of stuff.
It's the first commentary track
ever. Not even just Criterion.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like your wet dream. You love commentary tracks. A nice big commentary track. Baloney.
It is. It's great.
Except for rare situations, buying the classics on Blu-ray is good enough. When classics are already available on 4K, get the 4K at the time. Yeah, that's my rule.
That's correct.
That's basically what we live by. Let's see. Joshua, I have the Wim Wenders Curzon box set. Oh, but I'm definitely going to get the Paris, Texas 4K. That's another reason why I'm on the fence about getting Paris, Texas, because I want that box set so bad. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
It looks like the 3 colors back there, but it's like huge. It's crazy. Josh, I love docs. Check out Dressed in Blue if you get a chance. One of my favorite Vincent partner releases.
Dressed in Blue.
Check out. You're gonna have to check Videodrome for that. I'm sure they have it. They have all that stuff. Posty is talking to somebody else. I'll skip that. Jeffrey Patron, the archive in Bridgeport has both Laserdisc and Betamax. Amazing variety. Yeah, Jeffrey's been telling me all about this store. It's like the archive store. It's like a Vinegar Syndrome store. They have like all these boutique label, like international stuff, like just for sale for great prices. I'm very jealous.
Road trip.
Yeah, it's like it's in like Bridgeport. Where is that? Connecticut. Yeah, that's where it is. It's way up there. It'll be a long road trip. Maybe we'll stop at New York on the way and go into the Criterion Closet van.
There you go.
Or the Criterion Closet truck. Have you seen that?
You're the real one.
That's true. We'll stop. Yeah, I'm sure they'll let us in. Yeah, let us in. John, TCM, he can come in.
Cash in all my chips.
Joey, will you have something from the Criterion Closet? You want to tell that story real quick?
Well, TCM partnered with Criterion many years ago to do Filmstruck, RIP. And they were, of course, a lot of integration between the two partners there. So they went up to the Criterion offices at one point, and the person they knew because they had consulted me about anyway, they knew I was into it. So she called me from the closet and do you want anything?
What do you want?
She texted me, I guess. And I texted back I think it was Inside Llewyn Davis had just come out. And then I mentioned the Jacques Demy set. And she got it for me. I didn't realize
it's huge.
It's huge.
It's amazing.
She had to I don't know.
It's one of my favorite things. That might be something.
I almost feel guilty asking for it. I didn't know how big it was.
That might be something I would upgrade 4K. Demy's films Umbrellas or Young Girls or Donkey Skin on 4K would be amazing. I would love to see those. It has to be something visually super interesting to see them.
Yeah, Young Girls of Rochefort. Thank you for telling me to watch that because I had seen some of his other stuff, but that's the best. That's fantastic.
It's the top. Some people prefer Umbrellas. I need to rewatch Umbrellas. I've only seen it once. Ethan Edwards, no laser discs. I started with VHS, but DVD came out within a few years. Okay, so he's not as old as you.
Well, I remember when DVD came out, so
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with VHSs too. I'm just joking. I had like VHS went a long way. I had the original Spider-Man movies on VHS, like 2002. Like they went for a while.
Yeah, they did.
Even though DVD came out.
I mean, they didn't go away that long ago. I mean, I don't know if they were still producing new films on it.
Yeah. That was back when you were a kid and you watched movies so many times you could actually wear them out.
I loved the ones that had 2 tapes. That was like really special. Remember, like Titanic had 2 tapes. 10
Commandments.
Braveheart had 2. Godfather. Like
10 Commandments might have been like 3. 10 Commandments is still multiple discs to this day.
It's 4 hours, you know.
So long.
Abel Ferrara does some funky commentary. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Jeffrey Patron giving you some commentary track recommendations. Joshua also says one more documentary recommendation. The Emperor's Naked Army Marches On from Second Run. It might still be on Criterion Channel too.
It is. I watched on there fairly recently.
Oh, you've already seen it. Carrie Witt.
Good.
Question: if you pre-order the December Criterion titles during the November Barnes & Noble sale, do you get the sale price?
I don't think you do.
I don't think they are on sale until they're live.
Right. You can do that on the Criterion website usually, like with their flash sales. But I don't think the Barnes & Noble allows that.
I don't think Criterion allows Barnes & Noble to do that, probably.
That could be the case.
So sorry about that. You're going to have to wait. But they do, if you're not aware, they do a February flash sale every year on the actual Criterion website, and you can get them for 50% off there. So you don't have to wait till July.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Although last February I missed it because I had the stuff in my cart and I just completely spaced.
I think I was responsible this last February and didn't buy anything. That's what
this channel's not been good for either of our wallets. You don't
what
have
was
to
the biggest draw? I mean, how many did you get that year with Connor? Like a ton, right?
I think I usually am about like 30, 31 is like usually where I'm at. But I've slowed down now because
30.
Like the first couple, you know how your first couple sales
I think I got like 25.
You go crazy your first couple sales. This last one I went, although I've been chilling out, but Grace is now buying as much as me, so it's basically back up to where it was because I can't stop her from buying stuff. She's a nut. What else do we got here?
Guys, Grace is a real movie person.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think that?
Well, I didn't know. Like, I knew you, and I figured she just put up with you. But she's she knows her stuff.
She is more into it than me. She's the reason I'm watching so many noir films right now because she's super into it. She gets me to watch the Best Picture noms every year. I'm usually like hesitant, but she always like pushes me to watch them with her.
We were over here for the Oscars, and it was fun, but it was like you were just like in and out of the room.
I was just like drinking my whiskey in the back, and you guys were like freaking out.
And me and Sharon and Grace all tied.
They competed, and they all did
on the pool
really, really well
with different things. Like we just wound up with the same.
Yeah, she printed out sheets, and you guys did all your guesses and everything. It was great. It was a good time. Hopefully, we can get
it'll happen.
More folks over for the next one. Yeah. Let's see. Baloney. I still have a few laser discs that I keep for nostalgia. Ethan Edwards, the 10 Commandments 4K is beautiful. I kind of want to buy that, but that's one of those ones where I have this big giant box set behind me, and I don't know if I want to just get the 4K.
Okay, wait. That's a super corny movie, but I love it because everything. The money is on the screen. You know?
Yeah.
10 Commandments. It's just.
I've never seen it. I've never watched that one. I'm gonna have to watch it this Passover.
You haven't seen the 56 10 Commandments?
No.
Have you seen the old one? The silent one?
No, I've seen both.
So you haven't seen 10 Commandments?
No, I haven't seen 10 Commandments. The silent one is the same director, right?
Yeah.
This King of Kings guy?
DeMille.
Yeah. No, I've seen both Ben-Hurs. I've seen the silent Ben-Hur and the 50s Ben-Hur, but I haven't seen 10 Commandments. So yeah, I gotta check that out for this. Finally, this coming up year.
It's right there.
It's right there. I know. I started it this year. It was like I started it and then something came up and we had to get the kids to sleep or something. I couldn't finish it. It's so long.
Over Easter? You never watched it on TV?
It's hard for me. I didn't grow up with TV. It's hard for me to block off 4 hours for a night.
It's a lot.
It's a big commitment. It's
good.
What are people saying? We got to wrap this up. We are at 1:50. Okay, we'll go for 10 more minutes, guys. Right. We'll cut it off at 2 hours. So last call for questions, super chats, topics of conversation. Jeffrey, thanks for pointing. Yeah, just point to the one you want me to read. Also, DJ, there will be a bonus Criterion item in the Wednesday package. What a tease! What a tease!
Oh, you're Wednesday. I was like, what?
Jeffrey sent me a package.
Yeah, okay.
And because he went to that store, the amazing Connecticut store, and he was like, look at all this stuff. He's like, do you want anything? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he offered to buy me a gift. So thanks so much, Jeffrey.
That's intriguing.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to do a video about it. Connor also sent me a care package while I was in surgery with a couple movies in it too. So I'll lump all that into a video that'll be coming out this week. So thank you for that, guys. You're the best. Really appreciate it. Sheldon says, started out with beta, then VHS, Letterboxd, VHS DVD, and now Blu-ray. Man, you guys have been collecting forever. You guys should have your own channels. I'm sure your collections are way bigger than mine. Joey, DJ, just stick the 4K disc inside the box. Yes, the great idea. He just wants me to stick it in there.
Yeah.
That's what I should do. And that's what I've done before, like when I've upgraded stuff. Like I'll have like a really, really awesome Blu-ray set and then the 4K is just whatever. And I'll just drop the 4K in there. What is that? Oh, recently, go grab the apartment right there. We'll have to talk about this story. So I bought the apartment 4K from Kino Lorber.
Anything else?
No. We'll talk about that in another video.
All right.
But yeah, there's some stuff out there. Me and Grace just went out and shot a bunch of secondhand store goodness, and we picked up some cool stuff. And we found this. This has been on my list forever. This is like a holy grail of mine. In the very first video we ever did on this channel, we did our top 10 box sets with Connor, and this was on Connor's list. And I love it, and I've been jealous of it ever since. But it's very expensive. It's out of print. It goes for like $60-$70. And
You've seen the apartment.
Yes, absolutely. I've seen it. I have the 4K of it from Kino Lorber, but it's just a standard right there. You can see it next to Stalag 17. But this is this incredible LE limited edition from Arrow Video that they did, and it is amazing. And I finally have it, and they were selling it for $30. Just $30 at CD Warehouse right here in town.
Pretty great.
So
it looks good. Like it's in good condition.
It's in such good condition.
It has the book.
He told us that the guy had just turned it in like the night before. So we swooped in on Friday morning and grabbed it. And it's amazing. And I'm thinking of just putting the Kino Lorber 4K disc like in here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I like this version better. And I don't want to take up space with both. But yeah, that's the great idea. And that's kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to do there. Let's see. People are still talking amongst themselves about the UB820, which is the upgrade that you need to do if you ever get a new 4K player. Let's see.
I do have a 4K, but I may have that. I don't know.
You have Panasonic?
I don't remember.
I think I do. What everybody says is the best one.
I had one break on me, and I got another one, and I think it's a Panasonic. Anyway,
someone just mentioned.
I have the same one you do. What do you have?
The Panasonic UB820. Yeah. John should just join all the live streams. Well, don't tempt him, or he might. He might be banging on my door every Monday.
Maybe like every other would be fine. I don't know if it's.
I think we keep it. I think we keep it special. Like you're a special guest.
There you go.
But I do like having someone here. It's nice to not have to talk for 2 hours straight all by myself. It saves the voice a little bit.
That's true.
Joey says, yes, I love seeing John pop up, and Grace too.
Yeah, Grace should do one of these.
John will be in another video because we shot one just before this. That'll be coming out later this week. And like I said, Grace and I just shot a video as well. Some in-store shopping with Grace. We went to a couple secondhand stores. So stay tuned. They'll both be on the channel either this week or next week. Jay Hutch, does anyone know why Criterion won't reissue a Blu-ray 4K of Grand Illusion? It was their first DVD, but is now languishing, and I can't find another version out there. Studio Canal is the problem.
They had it for a while.
Studio Canal stole the rights back, so that's why. I love that movie. That's a great movie. It's another movie that takes place around Christmas time that I watched last year.
I had that DVD.
I would love that DVD.
Number one. There was actually the second one they put out because what is 2? Seven Samurai? Mm-hmm. Seven Samurai actually was released first, even though it's number 2.
Weird.
Because they got like some new transfer or some new elements or something on Grand Illusion, and it took a little extra time before they released it because they wanted, you wanted it to be right. So, so it's actually a little trivia there.
Fun fact. Thank you, John. That's why you're here. John from TCM, ladies and gentlemen. Marty, DMC, anyone else hate how quickly Arrow limited editions sell out so fast? I can't keep up with all these limited editions from all the boutiques. Dude.
Yep.
Trust me. I feel it. Story of my life. Like, they come out so quick, and everybody buys them up, and everyone jacks up the prices and sells them on eBay. Like,
and then there'll be another limited edition at some point too.
That's what sucks.
Annoying,
yeah,
right?
when you get the other ones. That's why I hold off on like Imprint and Umbrella, because hopefully we'll get an American version. That's also really cool. That's what I'm doing with. Get out of here with your rolly chair.
You have competing armrests.
What's it called? The big '80s movie, Neverending Story, just got a crazy Umbrella release that's like $170, $180. I'm holding out, hoping we get an American release. Usually, when they get the rights, it'll trickle down, and we'll get this restoration. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because I'm not going to pay that much for Neverending Story. I'm not going to pay that much for anything. $170.
Neverending Story. It's like, what are we talking about?
Baloney, did you guys get the Criterion promo disc out several years ago? It came in a standard cardboard case like CDs come in. I did not. Do you know what he's talking about? I wasn't collecting back then. I didn't start collecting till I started this channel, so I knew nothing about Criterion back then. And John doesn't remember.
I don't know.
No.
No, I guess not.
Let's see. A couple more here, and we will wrap it up. We've got about 5 minutes left. Thanks so much for being a trooper and hanging in here with me.
It's all adrenaline.
I hope you stay up on the way home and don't fall asleep. Eva Wax, I look forward to seeing your next video with Grace. Yeah, we found some cool stuff. That's when we found this, and some other interesting...
Some other goodies
over there. What else do we got here? Jeffrey says, haven't seen Grand Illusion, but Jean Renoir is a fantastic director.
Should I tell you what my November plan is?
What are you talking about, your November plan?
Well, I have Doctober.
Oh, you're going to do another theme month?
Well, people do Noirvember.
Oh.
But I was thinking about doing Renoirvember.
I think I'm going to be doing actual Noirvember, but does he have enough movies to make it through the month?
He's got enough. He's got like 20-something, maybe. 30.
Okay. You going to track them all down?
I have several. I mean, a lot of them are streaming on the Criterion channel, so that's pretty easy. But yeah. I mean, I don't have to watch one every single day, but I would like to.
40 films he's got.
Yeah, there you go.
Grand Illusion. I've got Rules of the Game back there you can borrow.
River, Day in the Country, that one's short. Bodou is great.
Bedeman,
La Chienne.
Crime of Monsieur Lange.
I've never seen, I saw Golden Coach, but I haven't seen like French Can-Can or something.
Jeez, he's made a lot of movies, yeah.
I have Tony, the Criterion one that I haven't watched. I just got Whirlpool of Fate that Jeffrey, did you just watch that? Somebody just watched that.
Renoir November. That's amazing. You should totally do that.
And I have a biography. That's actually why, because I wanted to read it, but I needed someone to
come over and watch Rules of the Game with me, because that's one I want to check off the list. I've never seen it.
I saw that in the theater the other day. Not the other day.
The other decade?
Like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. It was semi-recent.
Anyway, it does make a difference to see that. Like, you should watch it in your theater, obviously, where you watch everything. So, it's a great movie.
Let's see.
Where were we?
Jay Hutch, does anyone notice how some people pronounce it Criterion, while others, like me and both of you, pronounce it Criterion? What's a word? Like, it's just a word that's pronounced
That's how
Criterion.
you pronounce that word.
It's not like they made up the word. The former seems wrong, but I've heard more and more pronounce it that way. Yeah, I've heard people say that. I don't know why. But I'm going to stick with Criterion. And that's how they say it, and all the people in the Criterion closet. But
I call it Criteria sometimes because there's multiple of them.
That's true. What else do we have here? Yeah, stick with Criterion. That's what we're going to say.
There's also a Claude Renoir.
Oh, interesting. You do
there's
a dual Renoir November.
Well, anyway, that'd be fun. I could look at his dad's paintings, and I could also then watch his movies.
Let's see. Did anyone pre-order Redneck Miller from Film Masters? I never pre-order anything. Do you ever pre-order anything? I'm really bad about that. I'm scared to pre-order stuff because they don't charge you until it comes out. And I don't know if I would keep track of everything. I don't know how people keep track of everything. Do you put like a memo in your phone or something? The only thing I've ever pre-ordered was the Deaf Crocodile box set back there. The Alexander Tushko box set. That was a Kickstarter. Like I pre-ordered that.
I have pre-ordered like Criterions and stuff before, but it's been a while. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I'm not. It's like I don't have the urgency. Maybe.
Yeah. I understand it because if you don't,
I'm very laissez-faire.
If you don't get
if it comes to me, it comes to me.
Well, because you mostly buy Criterion and they don't go out of print. They're not limited.
Usually.
Most of the other boutiques, if you don't get it up front, it's gone. So I understand the pre-ordering.
I just haven't dived into that. But you're
Well, and I'm mostly catching up on old out of print stuff. I'm not keeping up with the new stuff. Like, hopefully soon. I'm hoping to get some Deaf Crocodile and Radiant stuff pretty soon that will be sent to me. What else do we have? Do you see anything else? The last couple questions here. People telling you some Renoir films to watch.
Are these? Oh, we got. These are documentaries. Carrie Witt.
Ethan says many fellow directors such as Wells consider Renoir to be the greatest director of all time. Of all time.
You also like John Ford a lot.
John Ford's amazing. Did John Ford like Renoir? Or you're saying
I have no idea.
You're saying that Wells liked John Ford.
I don't know if John Ford liked anything. It's like some cigars and yelling at people.
He made good movies though, even if he was a jerk.
And Monument Valley. Yes. What was the question? It wasn't a question. Grace Ray. Runworth's great.
Okay.
I think he has elements. I mean, they all had sort of.
It's the sign that we
they
need
all
to
played
pack it
with
up.
deep focus too, which is it like sort of connects all these people I just was mentioning. So,
all right,
that's fun. It's late.
It's late. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna stop it here. Thank you guys. So I gotta give it to the chat because we've had a steady audience of over 60 people for the whole time. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. We wouldn't be able to do this show without you. If it wasn't for them, this show would be like 10 minutes long and it would just be rattling off movies. You guys bring so much to the show. You guys have so many insights that I don't have, even that John doesn't have. John from TCM, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are great. Thank you so much, everybody. Everyone's saying goodbye and thank you in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, several videos coming out this week, including John from TCM. And we will talk to you in the comments on those videos. I got to reply to some comments on the video we shot today, people talking about the Criterion stuff. Lots of great stuff. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, when I started this channel, didn't think it. Never thought. What? 60 people watching me on a live stream? Stupid. It is ridiculous. So, but I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. You guys are amazing, especially all the guys who left great questions and conversation tidbits and insights and super chats. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. We'll never be able to thank you guys enough. You're amazing. And we'll wrap it up here. We'll sign off. Any final words?
No, that was really fun.
Yeah, it is fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm not just blowing smoke. Like, this is a really fun time, especially when you've got all these people telling you a lot of great stories and stuff. So we'll wrap it up. That is it, right at the 2-hour mark. And like I said, lots of stuff coming out this week. But until then, keep collecting. And we'll be back with another video real soon.